fpminsurance.com. Great service and extremely competitive rates from the top-rated companies. Briar Payne Mead, 913-6810-099. That's 913-6810-099.
Every weekday on Sports Radio 810, tune in to hear Kansas City's favorite local lineup. At 6 a.m., wake up with the Border Patrol with Stephen St. John and Nate Bucati. At 10, it's The Zone with Jason Anderson. Now at 2, get into the program with Soren Petro. And wrap up your day on Almost Entirely Sports with Joshua Brisco. Kansas City's hometown sports station. Sports Radio 810 WHB.
A KC tradition since 1957, Hereford House is a locally owned steakhouse that has served generations of Kansas Cityans. Hereford House exclusively serves certified Hereford beef, which has been proven to be naturally more tender and flavorful than other brands. All their steaks are aged 21 days, hand-cut daily, and grilled over an open charcoal flame. This process provides a wonderful aroma and delicious flavor that cannot be duplicated by any other cooking method. Hereford House, Leawood, Independence, Shawnee, and Zona Rosa.
Super Bowl 55 is finally almost here, and immediately after the game and the Lombardi Trophy presentation here on Sports Radio 810, we'll kick off the Sports Radio 810 WHB postgame show presented by CBD American Shaman and Operating Engineers Local 101. We'll break down all the action, take your calls, hear from Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady, Bruce Arians, all the Chiefs from the podium, even more guys from the Buccaneers side, and that all starts immediately after the Lombardi Trophy is presented right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
This is Almost Entirely Sports on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
We're basically going to do two different versions of this show tonight because it's the best idea that I came up with over the last couple of hours. Welcome in to what is Almost Entirely Sports, the cold open, the prequel, the serious version, and then we'll do our normal show here in a little bit. But honestly, I don't know what the best course of action is on a series of things because one of the things I like most about this show is that even the sort of serious can become kind of funny. You can find the funny in things. The pseudo-serious but really not that serious sports stuff always has room for laughter in it. But sometimes things don't really. And so I've been, just navigating a story that you may or may not even know about. And so I'm going to treat this segment as the segment that I tell you about tonight's story and the report from outside, not too far from Arrowhead, with Britt Reid, Andy Reid's son, and the Chiefs' outside linebackers and linebackers coach. If you're not familiar with the story, I'll get you up to speed with it, and we'll talk about it some here. I'll probably talk about it some. I'm not trying to drag Beards and Rudy into the middle of any trouble, but they're both here. And I'm not really anticipating trouble, I suppose. I'm not trying to drag you into the middle of extremely unfun, which is where we're at this point. I'll talk about it a little bit, and then we're going to do, again, kind of the second version of tonight's show that's going to have all the stuff you would hope for from a Friday getting ready for the Super Bowl, and specifically this show getting ready for a Super Bowl once again on a Friday. But we can't start there. I don't want to, I guess. It would feel disingenuous. So I'm going to give you some of the details from this report, which was first put out by 41 Action News, KSHB, here in Kansas City. Todd Palmer has the byline on this with some updates that have been updated over time. I may skip a couple of less vital details, but I do want to get you the majority of what matters here. Chiefs assistant linebackers coach Britt Reid was involved in a multi-vehicle crash that injured 2 young children less than 2 days before the team was scheduled to depart for Super Bowl 55 in Tampa, Florida. Reid, 35, who is Chiefs head coach Andy Reid's son, has worked on the team's coaching staff since his father arrived before the 2013 season. The Chiefs confirmed Friday in a statement to 41 Action News that Reid was involved in a crash Thursday night. I'll say this statement that I'm about to read has now been sent out to an enormous number of media, and everyone's tweeted it out. Here's the statement from the Chiefs. The organization has been made aware of a multi-vehicle accident involving outside linebackers coach Britt Reid. We are in the process of gathering information, and we will have no further comment at this time. Our thoughts and prayers are with everyone involved. I'm going to come back to this statement in a minute. The crash happened shortly after 9 p.m. on Thursday on southbound I-435 near Eastwood Trafficway, which is one exit south of the Chiefs' practice facility at the Truman Sports Complex. According to Kansas City, Missouri police, a Chevy Impala that had run out of gas was sitting on the entrance ramp from Stadium Drive to I-435. The driver had called family for help, which arrived in a Chevrolet Traverse and parked in front of the disabled car. While attempting to get the vehicle running again, a white Dodge Ram Laramie Sport pickup truck traveling on the entrance ramp, which Britt Reed admitted to police he was driving, according to a search warrant, struck the left front of the stranded Impala. The driver of the stranded vehicle was inside the car at the time and wasn't injured, but the Ram truck continued forward and also struck the right rear of the Traverse. A 5-year-old child in the back seat of the Traverse suffered life-threatening injuries, and a 4-year-old also in the back seat suffered non-life-threatening injuries, according to the KCPD. Both children were transported to a local hospital for treatment. An adult passenger in the front seat of the Traverse was not injured in the crash. Reed received non-life-threatening injuries, investigators said. There was a blurb about where they're trying to determine whether there was driver impairment. Later, it became a little more clear through the story. According to a search warrant filed just before midnight Thursday, a KCPD officer said they could smell, quote, a moderate odor of alcoholic beverages and that Britt Reed's eyes were bloodshot and red. Britt Reed told the officer he'd had 2 to 3 drinks, according to the search warrant application. He also said that he took Adderall by prescription. The officer wrote in the warrant that he observed signs of impairment, after which Reed complained of stomach pain and was transported to an area hospital for treatment. Once at the hospital, the officer requested a blood draw from Britt Reed, and a Jackson County judge approved the request. The search warrant application also references that a computer check revealed multiple prior DUI contacts. Law enforcement also shut down the ramps from I-70 and some more traffic things. A number of reports have said since then also that the Chiefs are not planning on taking Britt Reed to Tampa Bay for the Super Bowl, so that he just won't be there on Sunday. There was an incident in 2007 of a road rage incident that involved him pointing a gun at another driver, and he ended up with 5 years of probation and 8 to 23 months in jail was the sentencing. Pled guilty to the firearm and simple assault and controlled substances and all of that. He was arrested 7 months after that instance, again in charge of the DUI. All of that is he got a sentence of 1 to 6 months and then received credit for time served before being paroled in February 2008. All of the parts at the end there is to put into context that Britt Reed has obviously had a problem, which is worth noting here. And here's also what I'm not really interested in doing. I'm not really interested in the It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia gif of, connecting a bunch of things with red yarn and trying to draw a bunch of sweeping conclusions. And frankly, I think that most attempts to do that are relatively transparent and genuinely unhelpful. And I definitely don't have any interest in doing anything unhelpful over the course of all of this. What we do know is that, and I look, man, 2 to 3 drinks and light odor of alcohol. I have no idea. We don't have a blood alcohol level right now. There is enough sort of static in this story that I think by nature, my brain, probably all of our brains, are filling in automatically, and I really want to try not to do that. But also the context of Britt Reed having a problem in his past makes this even more troubling kind of from that perspective. But the thing that's definitely true is that there's a 5-year-old that we don't know the status of. I hope that life-threatening injuries means that they're injuries that were life-threatening until they were addressed. I don't know that. I don't know if it continues to be life-threatening or if it was and now it's the child is stable. I don't know. As of right now, no one knows. And I will say that even in kind of a tale of two shows today, if we get information to that end, an update on the kids or whatever, we'll circle back to it. I just know that I don't think it would be helpful to do this for 3 hours, read this story every 15 minutes, and then bumble around it. But it also, we can't just skip it. We can't opt out of all of this. I don't know, man. I just, the story came out a few hours ago now, I think, and I don't know, man. Like, I feel sick reading it. And I think there's also, let me say this the most careful way that I can, I suppose. It's not as hard as some people make it out to be to find compassion in a number of places for a number of people. I think some people make it way harder than it needs to be. You can find villains in most stories, and I think you should be able to find some amount of compassion depending on the context. Britt Reed has clearly had a problem, and this is certainly seems indicative of that problem resurfacing in a way that is really upsetting. Garrett Reed, which I imagine most people in Kansas City know, Andy Reid's oldest son, died in, I believe it was 2012. He died at a room at Eagles training camp. He was 29. Yeah, it was 2012. And so both of them have had obvious, serious problems, and I think it would be really terrible to not have an amount of compassion for their stories. And also, Britt Reed is not the victim in this. There's a line to draw from responsibility to, like, personal responsibility in a situation to the factors that have been plaguing him since he was a teen, I believe. And also, again, not the victim here, because there's a 5-year-old that we can only hope for the best for at the moment. You don't have to pick and choose, is what I would offer. This can be awful from every possible vantage point. I imagine that. So this happened last night. The Chiefs practiced today. Mm-hmm. Andy Reid answered some pool reporter questions from Herb Ethiopia of the Star. He was the pool reporter today. I imagine that he knew all of this had happened last night. I feel bad for him because he's had plenty of hurt from addiction and dependencies and alcoholism. And again, I don't know where Britt Reed is at right now, but that's certainly in his past. And especially if you believe that was not going to come up again, the pain of having that resurface in someone that you care about has to be astronomical. As does the pain of wondering if your 5-year-old child or sibling or grandchild or whatever. I don't think we know anything at this point about anyone who was hit in the crash. So that's apologies for the vagueness, but it's vague on purpose at this point. The pain of wondering if your 5-year-old is going to survive, also unimaginably great. Not everything is a debate show, so that you can keep that in mind as every possible direction from this is awful. This is not in any way the most important in the cosmic sense part of all of this. but it's also happening days before the Super Bowl, which just the context of it becomes even more amplified and even more bizarre and even more troubling and even more upsetting. Again, just in some of the contextual parts of this. Honestly, this is whatever. I said honestly, I'm sticking by it. This is just honestly what I was thinking as I was reading it. I started reading the story for the first time, and they've been adding and tweaking stuff and fleshing out the report on 41's website, kshb.com. But the first time I was reading it, I saw that there was a crash, and I don't even know if at the beginning they had the severity of injuries. I simply don't remember. But I saw like one exit away from the Arrowhead practice facilities and everything. And my thought was, okay, well, that probably means, at least it wasn't 2 a.m. driving home from, out somewhere. And thinking like, well, leaving work, it probably is a good sign for it not being a DUI or DWI or anything like that. And so finding that out, that's only going to start more questions are going to follow that. I mean, I have no idea where that comes from or where that leads to. But I had that thought at the time of like, well, leaving work, maybe it's just tired, didn't see them, whatever. And then as we get more details, it gets only worse. One thing, I've also kind of just like laying some cards out. I've been talking to a number of people who just about the story privately and trying to figure out, I don't know, just stuff that's going on. And so I'm lifting this from this is not my original thought. Is basically the whole point of this is that one of the many people I've talked to. This is not my original thought, but we were talking about, man, what's crazy is that as of right now, the next time that Andy Reid is going to talk to the media after his son and an assistant coach, being the same person, severely injured a child driving while under some amount of alcohol intoxication. The first time he's going to talk about that or be asked about that is going to be at the podium after the Super Bowl postgame. Win or lose. There's neither one of those like lessens it. And it's definitely, again, something that's kind of an offshoot. It's one of the things I thought about 30 minutes after I finished reading the story for the first time. And the spin-off of that, and one thing that I don't know if it bothers me. One thing that I kind of maybe I'm a little bit disappointed in, and it's a tough spot, but the statement of the organization has been made aware of a multi-vehicle accident involving outside linebackers coach Britt Reid. We're in the process of gathering information, and we'll have no further comment at this time. Our thoughts and prayers with everyone involved. It sort of sounds like that statement makes it sound like the Chiefs found out while we were all finding out, which seems difficult to imagine.
Unlikely. Yeah.
Seems unlikely.
Yeah.
In the process of gathering information right now, they could read the story on 41's website, and they could get enough information to have something more substantive. Beyond that, wouldn't it probably be better to have Andy Reid say anything right now, or sometime before? I mean, and this could still happen. It doesn't need to be Friday night at 8:30. But the more that it just kind of sits there, and I'm sure they probably want to wait till they get more information about the child that's severely injured and what happens to them. But it's not just an assistant coach. I mean, Britt Reid has had, I think, 3 or 4 different roles on the Chiefs' coaching staff. He may be an excellent coach. In fact, I imagine that he is not a poor coach, because I don't really think Andy Reid would have a poor coach on the staff. But the connection there is that he's his son.
Yeah, he's had 4 since he got to Kansas City.
Makes that tracks.
Mostly on the defensive line. Started off as defensive quality coach, assistant
Yeah.
D-line coach, now outside linebackers.
And I think that the sort of counter to, hey, I want to have, my son on the coaching staff, and maybe there's a relationship there of like, if he's on the coaching staff with me, he's in a place that's safer for him. I have no idea. That is a total guess. I don't know. It's something that I could see that would make sense. And he also may be an excellent coach. I have no idea.
I mean, and it can be both, right? Like
Absolutely.
he can be a good coach, and also Andy Reid want to put him in a situation because obviously his history, right, with his son or with his other son, thinking to himself, I want to put my
And
other
with
son in the
both of
best
them.
situation that I can,
Yeah.
so that he doesn't go down maybe that have those same faults.
Right. But you gotta. But now, whenever you get this story,
Yeah.
his full name shows up in every piece because you can't just say Reed,
Yeah.
And I feel. I was gonna say, I feel awful. That could be the end of the thing. And
Mhm.
also, if you don't feel awful, or if anyone is talking to you about this and the first thing they feel isn't awful, stop listening to them. Because there's something worse going on inside of them. Because this story is terrible. Addiction is terrible. Watching someone that you love and have tried to help potentially fall back into an addiction that maybe you thought was a decade in the rear view. Maybe it's popped up more times. I have no idea.
At least publicly, it hasn't in a while.
Sure.
Right?
But whatever math you do there, seeing that come back up in someone's life that you care about, terrible. Having a child be gravely injured because of those other things is awful. And it shouldn't be too difficult to have human and upset reactions.
I feel like we can, and part of this is because we know Andy Reid a little bit better because he's a public figure as compared to obviously the family who the idea like I don't have kids, but I have like a 9-year-old niece, a 3-year-old nephew, and I have another niece on the way in March. And like every time I see a story like this, like I just think about them and just like how it would just destroy me.
Yeah.
But you also know like how hard this has to be for Andy Reid. And again, I can speak more for Andy Reid. I feel like because we know him, because Andy Reid has built a large part of his life, not just as a coach, but just his life in second chances. He's and this is something I've always respected about Coach Reid's, the fact that like I dislike hypocrites. I've said this before. And a lot of people would be like, "Hey, I believe in second chances." Right with the Suns, with their past, he obviously wants second chances for his sons.
Yeah.
And to his credit, he's taken that and then given second chances to many other people because he would want other people to give his son second chances.
Yeah.
And to just, again, and like you said, when you continue to give, and you're going to give your family more chances than, maybe you would other people. They're your family. And then just still see, this bad stuff happen. I mean, I like that's got to be heartbreaking.
Yeah. And again, there's a lot that we don't know.
And you feel helpless, right? Like I imagine he feels just helpless. Like what can I do to? And
could I have done?
There's nothing you can do.
Right. Yeah.
And I can only like imagine what the family's going through too, because I mean, the adults involved who are there, right? They're probably thinking to themselves like, well, what could I have done to not have the car? Like, there's nothing you could do, right?
Yeah.
Like there's and that
guilt's not logical
feeling,
most of the time.
Exactly, that feeling of helplessness is just it's heartbreaking.
Again, there's a lot that we don't know still. I read you almost the entire article from kshb.com. If more like big information comes out over the rest of the show, we'll talk about it some at least. But I don't. Again, we can sort of circle around in this little 25-minute space all night, but I don't know if that's helpful for anybody. I also feel extremely, this might be evident, I feel extremely uncomfortable knowing that the reason we're talking about this is because of who put these kids' lives in danger, but it's because it's in name at least a sports show. and we don't talk about every traffic accident that ends horribly. So that's our touch point to it. So I don't feel necessarily guilty about that, but I do feel not ideal about it. But that's the space that we're in.
One thing I just because we got a Facebook question just asking,
Sure.
is this Andy Reid's grandkids? Then I feel like
In
the 5-year and the 4-year-old were they Andy Reid's grandkids?
We have no reason to believe that.
I would assume if they were, they would have mentioned that, but we obviously don't know who they were. But it appears that they are not.
Yeah. It is a good.
Yeah.
I'm glad someone asked that. And I'm glad that you answered it because as of 8:30 Friday night, there's not any identities out from the adults or the children there, which I'm sure is to protect everyone and throughout all of this. But yeah. And I understand, like the idea of, well, what, if the Chiefs, if I'm kind of, again, I'm hardly incensed, but if I'm kind of disappointed in the Chiefs not saying anything, someone on Twitch asked, like, what are they supposed to say? A totally fair question. Totally. But to be able to, like, acknowledge it, like, there's no way that the Chiefs, I shouldn't say it that way. I find it very difficult to imagine that the Chiefs were finding that out as the story was breaking, and so the whole thing feels like they got caught with their pants down or whatever. They got caught unaware, unprepared, whatever, for a story that maybe they found out in real time. I don't know, but because it's not just an assistant, but it's also the assistant who is Andy Reid's son, putting something to that. The heartbrokenness for the family, and that Britt, is responsible for his own choices, and they're gonna try to figure out, he's gonna go get the help that he needs and all of that. Like, I'd like to think that there is some room for something, if not for the content, for the action of let's have the team, or specifically the coach, because of the relation, put their name on something that just acknowledges what is happening in a way that isn't, we're still in the process of gathering information, when there's a lot of information out right now, because we just talked about the information that we do have for 30 minutes. Again, I'm hardly. It doesn't. I'm feeling less critical and more like they missed an opportunity to provide some context of their own and some information of their own in a way that could have been more helpful to this entire situation being terribly unwieldy. And also maybe they decided, again, we're not going to say anything until we know if the kid's going to be okay or not, which are two options for life-threatening injuries. So, I think that's essentially everything. Beards messaged our group chat earlier this afternoon. It was like, hey guys, I have a new intro for tonight, which I was excited about. So I'm like, it's probably Super Bowl related in some way, I would guess. I don't know. But Beards, I didn't want you to burn the intro at the beginning of this segment, only to have me immediately ignore it. The plan still, as of right now, is to have Matt Verderam join us to talk about Super Bowl stuff, predominantly, if not entirely, in 30 minutes, and to do some dumb Super Bowl power rankings with Tucker at 10. If we get more news or more information, we'll circle back on this, and if not, this whole segment is going to get podcasted on its own, so I'll probably point back to this if people are looking for the information on this story, or just how we're feeling about it. If that's something that you care about, I feel bad about it. I feel bad. This is one of the least excited times I've ever felt to do a radio show. And it's the last AES before the Chiefs play in the Super Bowl. But but this hasn't been fun, and coming in to do it and trying to figure out what we're going to do here wasn't fun. But I guess we'll try to do fun for 2.5 hours after our upcoming commercial break. But if you either missed any of this, want to get someone else up to speed, whatever, this will be podcasted on its own on the Almost Entirely Sports podcast feed as its own thing. And then we will essentially restart the show in a couple of minutes and see where we end up. Are we going to be able to come back and laugh at an intro and then play a bunch of just an absolute nonsense amount of sound from media days? I have no idea. This is the best idea that I came up with.
I think it was the right choice.
Why don't you withhold your judgment for at least another half hour? Let's just see how the next part goes.
Here's what I'll say, because this is something obviously that couldn't just be ignored, and to play an intro, a funny intro,
that would have been
and
bad.
Make it serious.
That would have been bad for sure.
I think you made the correct choice here. I feel very confident about that. Because we obviously don't know everything yet, but this is a very serious matter for it's literally some life and death situation.
Can I maybe make it more serious and also worse? This is a different topic that has. What are you smirking at, Beard? Isn't that I do that all the time?
No, what you said there, I just marked it. Good use for a liner later.
You can't use a liner from this half hour, Beards. That's unacceptable. Don't remind me when it.
That's okay. No, it'll be out of context. It's fine.
Wait a couple months.
Exactly.
Put it in the rotation.
Yeah. I don't know that this is in any way necessary or not, but there was the story, and I think that it happened on a day that we didn't have a show that night, or something. I don't remember why we never talked about it. But there was the domestic violence. This is totally a different gear, but I'm going to make a point that it's going to connect it. There's the story with the Seahawks offensive lineman Chad Wheeler, who just horrendously beat his girlfriend to. Apparently, he thought that she was dead. Horrible, awful, unequivocally at every turn. And also, absolutely not but also, then it comes out that he has some serious bipolar mental health personality issues, and that he had apparently been off his meds, and that and some of the things that were described in some of the reports very much track with, you can trust me on this or not, very much track with a large number of choices here, one of the extreme and violent and worst possible outcomes for essentially a psychotic breakdown. And he is responsible for his mental health, and he is responsible for staying on his meds, and he is responsible for what he did while off of the meds. I want to make that outrageously clear. And the girlfriend is the victim in every fathomable sense of the word. And that could be the end of the conversation, right? She's not coming back into the conversation from this point forward. That part is easy. That part is super, super easy. She is 100% unequivocally the only victim, and that's easy. I also feel a upsetting sympathy, I guess. Not sympathy is the wrong word. I feel bad. We're just gonna keep it simple. I feel bad for anyone whose mental health is at a point where they do something violent and awful and do not recognize themselves outside of that. That's the only reason that I even bring that up here is because it's one of those multifaceted, horrible stories. It's only horrible everywhere. That has someone who is a blameless victim, a completely blameless, damaged victim, and also the villain of that incident is certainly not blameless and has failed in some way of their responsibility to handle their own mental health and their own health in a literal sense or in a traditional sense or whatever as well. But it's also terrible from the things that have haunted them. It doesn't justify anything. It doesn't excuse anything, but it's all awful. I kind of wanted to talk about that story at one point, and we just never really came around to it. So that'll do. And it does kind of bother me that's not easier to talk about, but something that doesn't need to be pushed back against. There's plenty of room for a layered approach of everything. This is a bleep sandwich with also lots of layers to it that is all horrible but isn't simple. It's horrible, but it's not simple. Anyway, I don't know if that is in any way helpful as a part of the conversation, but it's something that it reminded me of. So I think that's it. I think we'll take a break. I know we need to do that. That part's easy. And then we'll come back and then figure out what we do after that. This show's going to be weird. Or maybe it's just this hour. I don't know. If you want more information on the Britt Reed story, KSHB has the master article and a ton of information there. You can check that out. Or if you missed any of it, it'll be up on the podcast page in a little while.
You are listening to Almost Entirely Sports with Joshua Brisco on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Do you have a frog? A freezing room over the garage? Now that everyone is home, are you looking to convert your frog into an office, a schoolroom, or a comfortable room to escape your family? With no ductwork required, Mitsubishi Electric offers room-by-room air filtration and precise temperature control. Let's help you turn those cold, uncomfortable spaces in your house into a space you and your family will really enjoy. To learn more about Mitsubishi Electric's solutions, visit keepkccool.com today. Now, they can help you whether you need to heat it up or cool it down. Mitsubishi's got you covered. Our biggest problem here in the Sports Radio 810 control room and studio was the heat. We've got a lot of windows and a lot of radio equipment, and our Mitsubishi unit has kept us cool for years. It works like a charm, and it works quickly, and it's whisper quiet. It's been a real game changer for us at Sports Radio 810. Check them out at keepkccool.com. That's keepkccool.com today.
Buying or selling your home is a big decision, maybe the largest transaction of your life. So make sure you have a real estate expert on your side. Shannon Brimacombe and Stacy Cohen with Reese Nichols. Brimacombe and Cohen rank among the top 1% of all agents in the city, with over 100 million in transactions in the past 2 years. Dedication and decades in the business. Contact Shannon Brimacombe at 913-269-1740 and find out why Brimacombe and Cohen are moving people and moving houses.
Get your Valentine's something special this year, the best version of you. Call the Kansas City Men's Clinic today for their $49 Valentine's Day special. Don't let erectile dysfunction stop you. Be the man you know you can be and take action now. Call the Kansas City Men's Clinic at 816-608-8189. That's 816-608-8189 and schedule your private consultation for only $49. You have nothing to lose and everything to gain.
The Chiefs are going back to the Super Bowl.
Can't wait for the Super Bowl? Neither can we. That's why Sports Radio 810 is bringing you wall-to-wall Chiefs beginning Saturday at 5. It's 24 hours of Chiefs pregame before Westwood One's presentation of Super Bowl 55.
The Kansas City Chiefs are back in business.
Keep it on Sports Radio 810 for 24 hours of Chiefs pregame coverage beginning Saturday at 5, then the Central Bank of the Midwest pregame show at 1 on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Another reading from the Golden Oak Lending Book of Mortgage Lingo. What is Zipline? It's Golden Oak's fast and easy online mortgage application tool that leaves you with more time to take the dog for a long evening walk. Good dog. Plan a family movie night.
I get to pick the movie. No, it's my turn. It's not.
Okay, double feature it is. And still have time to clean up the popcorn you weren't planning on sharing.
Toby.
Bad dog. At Golden Oak Lending, we speak mortgage and love translating it for our customers throughout their lives. Right now, rates are at a historic low 2.5%. Take advantage of today's low rates by visiting us online at goldenoaklending.com to use Zipline, a simple tool that will make your next home loan or refi a breeze. And remember, at Golden Oak, we never charge for a home appraisal if we can't close your loan. NMLS 114937, 2.5% fixed, 2.655% APR on a conventional 15-year mortgage with 30% equity and approved credit. JLB Corporation, 8595 College Boulevard, Overland Park, Kansas.
The Missouri Army National Guard can help you get the education you need to land the career you've always wanted. The Guard will pay up to 100% of your tuition for up to 39 credit hours per academic year at 90 colleges and tech schools across the state. You're eligible as soon as you enlist. Learn more about the many benefits that come with serving part-time in the Missouri Army National Guard. Visit nationalguard.com today. Sponsored by the Missouri Army National Guard, aired by the Missouri Broadcasters Association and this station.
Hey guys, Soren Petro here. Are you starting the new year right? Are you starting by prioritizing your health? It's what you should do, and I recommend going to the Low T Center. They can get everything started with an annual wellness exam where they do a comprehensive health assessment exclusively for men, making it quick and easy to take care of your health. They offer monitored, self-injected home testosterone treatment for $135 a month, self-pay. Just go to lowtcenter.com right now to book your appointment. That's lowtcenter.com. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
Super Bowl 55 is coming to America's largest all-sports radio station, Sports Radio 810 WHB. This is Kevin Harlan. I'll have the call with Hall of Fame quarterback Kurt Warner on Super Bowl Sunday when the Kansas City Chiefs take on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It's Patrick Mahomes against Tom Brady. Tune in to hear all the action right here on your official home for Super Bowl 55. Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Listen up, Chiefs Kingdom. It's time to get ready for all the big games. No one does watch parties better than Hy-Vee. Let Hy-Vee help you party in style with a huge selection of official Chiefs apparel, paper goods, party supplies, and more. Start off the day right by picking up the limited edition Patrick Mahomes cereal. Then feed your hungry team with a perfect party tray, burgers, brats, wings, and ready-to-bake pizza. No time to prepare? Let Hy-Vee quarterback your party with full-service catering, home delivery, and setup. Elevate your home gate at Hy-Vee, the official grocery sponsor of the Kansas City Chiefs.
Coverage of the big game is presented by Victory Chevrolet, Anthony Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electric, CBD American Shaman, and Community America Credit Union.
How much does Joshua Brisco talk about Patrick Mahomes?
All right, so do we just talk about Patrick Mahomes for like 45 minutes then? Because like that's something I'm always in the mood to do. Is that like your favorite thing right now?
So I have a little idea, but it centers around Patrick Mahomes.
Most of my ideas do.
Almost entirely.
1, 2, 3. Check out Mahomes.
This is Almost Entirely Mahomes with Joshua Brisco.
But Beards and I came to a realization the same moment about Magic Mahomes. That sounds like an NFL-themed sequel to the Magic Mike films, and that might not be exactly perfect.
Are you saying you wouldn't watch that movie?
Oh no, dude! I am box office midnight showing.
Take the show with you by listening on the Sports Radio 810 mobile app at 810WHB.com or by searching for Almost Entirely Sports wherever you get your podcasts.
But I will never slander the good, pure name of Patrick Mahomes. Mahomes forever!
This is Almost Entirely Sports on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
We're just restarting the show. We're just doing it. We're starting again now. We're doing two different versions of this tonight. Almost all very serious, heavy societal conversation. And then now, that's Almost Entirely Mahomes, baby. It's a good intro, Beards, and it feels like a
was,
good way to sort of to segue from one very, very serious sort of Chiefs adjacent topic to the other. In fact, Rudy, will you please at least grab the aggravated kitten and purple dolphin out of the box over there for me?
I only heard about half of that. My headphones cut out.
That's fine. I only heard about half of what you were saying because Beards was telling me that we got to get out in like 8 minutes, which is crazy because the show just started. Am I right, guys?
So I was saying I lost hearing in my headphones
Yeah, I
for
did
a little
actually
bit.
see. Yeah, I see. Could you just hand me the aggravated kitten and the purple dolphin from
There
my
we go.
microphone
There
here?
we go.
Because we're restarting AES for the night. If you want any of the very, very serious 45 minutes that we did to open the show, it's already up on the podcast page. So I almost got hit by a kitten. That's all there, and then I feel like that will allow us to hopefully bring you something a little more fun and a little more the energy that you're hoping for as we sit now and in a number of hours really away from the Super Bowl. We'll have 24 hours of pregame coverage starting tomorrow afternoon. I will be on for, I think, 5 of the 24 hours, if I've got the math right. But the next couple hours will be a whole lot of fun. We'll talk to Matt Verderam of Fansided here in about 10 minutes or so. And then Tucker D. Franklin of Arrowhead Report and our king of power rankings will join
Little
us
Chief
at
boy.
10. Our little chief boy.
He has such good nicknames.
He really does. He has so many that I kind
Yeah.
of forget to like mention them
It's
all.
a big business card.
It is. He just has like an easel.
Yeah.
And he just those like tearaway easels you can just
Oh, yeah,
write
yeah.
your information up and then rip them away.
Rip it
That's what Tucker does.
Tucker D. Franklin Esquire, little
I
chief
almost
boy.
said Esquire and I didn't,
Yeah.
but it seems right.
President of Power Rankings.
Here's a little anecdote from today's Super Bowl, just sort of not really coverage in the traditional sense, but experiences.
Sorry to go back to what you were saying, though, about the schedule, because somebody asked if the 24-hour coverage will be on Twitch. It will not.
No, it'll be on the radio.
Yes.
And 18WHB.com and the 18 mobile app.
Yes.
But no, there's
Check it
not a
out.
video element for that. Post game will after the show or after the game on Sunday. You can hear the Super Bowl here on Sports Radio 810 as well. But I was texting with my mom today because I'm a excellent son. I'm just a good child.
Not good enough to call.
Text my mom back. She texted me. She texted me. I texted
My mom
back.
texts me. I call her. That's all I'm saying.
Oh really? All right.
No,
well,
I don't. That's a lie.
I wouldn't want that.
That's a lie.
You should
Yeah.
interact with me in the same way, the same form.
If you reach out to me by phone, I will call you back. If you reach or by
unless
audio.
it's a text that says "call me."
Yeah.
But
If
that's
you
gotta
text
be
me,
it.
I will respond with text.
But my
unless
family,
I feel like the text is way too long to respond to, and I feel like it's just easier to call. If it's
Yeah.
Like, but yeah.
But if it's just like, "Hey man, what's up?" and then I get a phone call,
you're dead to me.
Don't.
We're not friends anymore.
I don't want to talk to you.
You're out of my life.
But I was texting with my mom earlier because my family moved down to the Tampa area, about 45 minutes away from the stadium. But that my parents and brother and sister are all down there now, and they went to like the fan experience thing in Tampa today, and checked everything out and
saw Mick.
It's all sounded good. Well, here's the thing. I texted both Mick Schaefer and Danny Welniak. I texted them a picture that my mom had sent me of the three of them. I don't think my brother went. And I was like, if these people approach you, call security and get out of there. I did actually
use the
text
Andersons
them both.
as a human shield.
Yes,
find the Andersons, use them as a shield, and run.
If you find, grab. That's true. And I also I told my entire family, if you find Jason or Corey Anderson, you run. That's sort of the hierarchy of this. Is
Yes.
I don't want any of these interactions. Everyone's running together. But they went out there. They didn't. They. I think my mom kept an eye out for either Danny or Mick, and didn't see either of them. But they got back to a place just sort of across the street, a short walk from where they live. There's a Chiefs fan party there. There's a pretty good shout out to the Florida Chiefs fans. I know Florida's much bigger than the Tampa area, but everybody there's a big Floridian Chiefs fan population, and whenever they got to this thing across from their house down on the beach, Channel 5 is there, and I don't know if it's going to make air or not, but apparently Danny wasn't there, unfortunately, but some of the folks from KCTV5 talked to my dad.
Ooh.
My hope beyond hope, there are two things that I have crossed my fingers for, and I will be ecstatic if I ever see visual evidence of this, is if they spell Brisco with an E, I will be tickled. And I had the thought of, like, what would the description under his name be, you know?
Yeah.
Chiefs fan, not very descriptive. Florida Chiefs fan.
Florida man.
Florida man, it would be pretty good.
I think you have to go with Florida man.
I'm thinking father of @JB Brisco with no E. Or what I'm really hoping is retiree. Because that would wreck him forever.
I kind of hope it's the more famous, father.
He's got less Twitter followers than I do at this point.
That's
He's
what I'm
an
going for.
author.
That's
He's
what I'm
an
going for, though.
author.
They put his Twitter bio up there,
yes.
and then he gets all the followers, and he passes you on followers again. And then, again, you have less followers than your dad.
If that happens, I'm going to make some phone calls at Channel 5, like, listen here. Put me on TV and let me hold up my Twitter handle on a sign.
@JB Brisco with an E.
No E.
And then After Effects, they just hold up a thing that says unfollow in front of it.
Or it just says @Bradley Brisco, or I think that's his handle now. And any of those things would just fill me with an immense amount of joy. I did not make the necessary plans to have my sister be our Tampa Bay based analyst for tonight's show previewing the game. We may see if we can get a report from her after the game, get a report after the fact of how things went and everything.
Your mom just said they made a point to say Brisco no E.
Yeah, here's the thing, Mom. I know it's very fun that you think that is going to make its way through. I'm just going to say, I don't know if this was listen, I've been on, a number of our esteemed local television stations in the area. I don't remember. I'm not throwing stones at any of them in particular, but sometimes you say Brisco, Brisco. There is no E at the end, it just ends with O. You can say all that, and that's fine. And sometimes it still sneaks its little sneaky way on there.
Because it's the right way to spell it.
Rudy.
Have you seen this video of Mick? He's
No.
ready to play left tackle, man.
What did Mick do?
Oh, go to Mick's Twitter. So he was doing a newscast. Somebody tried to get in, and he blocked him right out. Live on
My
news.
brother just texted me, look at my Snap stories, tell them about my Snapchats. Hold on, I guess I got to see how... All right, hold on. Why? All right.
Go to @McShafer.
All right, so
watch him
here's my
block a
brother.
guy.
Here's my brother at the gym. That's probably not
I think that's it.
It's very shaky cam, but it looks like it is absolutely popping off. Wow. It sure is. I can't turn the audio on because also I'm afraid that there will be something not suitable for radio. But Treasure Island, Florida right now.
Is that a good thing?
It is red with Chiefs pride. Is it good that it's popping off?
Say it's red with something else. COVID, heat map.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, that's a bit of a wet blanket, I suppose. 6 feet apart, everybody. 6 feet.
You're listening to Almost Entirely Sports with Joshua Brisco on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Hey everyone, Les Norman here, host of the Breaking the Norm show. Since '95, I've made KC my home, and since then, I've seen a World Series champion in 15, a Super Bowl champion in 20, and the greatest fans supporting both. It's the people that make me proud to call KC home. You're passionate about your teams and each other. During this crazy time, keep caring for and loving each other. And thank you for making KC not only the greatest sports city, but also the most caring and helpful place to watch sports. Stay healthy, be safe, don't panic, and keep loving each other well.
Menards has the flooring you need to give your home a fresh look. Check out our great selection of Shaw flooring. Durable laminate flooring can be installed over most floors. Repel Cumberland laminate flooring is water resistant, making it good for any room in your home. Plus, it's available in 3 unique wood grain finishes. It's only $2.19 a square foot now at Menards. Sale prices are good through Saturday, February 13th.
Save big money at Menards.
It's football season in Kansas City, and that means it's ring season. So as KC hunts for another championship, there's no need to hunt for the best tasting light beer in town. You can run it back this season with the great taste of Miller Lite and enjoy greatness on the football field and in your beer. the official great taste of football in Kansas City. Miller Lite.
Please enjoy Miller Lite responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Harry's Razors just came out with their sharpest blades ever. But unlike other razor companies, they're not charging you more. Harry's new sharper blades are still as low as $2 each. You heard me right, just $2. How do they do it? Harry's owns a German factory that's been honing razor blades for 100 years. They source their steel from Sweden and own the entire manufacturing process, from research and development to the factory floor. It allows them to keep the prices lower. How confident are they? A 100% quality guarantee. You'll see it at harrys.com. Blades are even delivered directly to you. No getting unmasked and standing in line. They're delivered straight to your door, with or without a subscription. And right now, Harry's has a great offer for my listeners. New customers get $5 off a Harry's trial set when you use the promo code PETRO, P-E-T-R-O, at harrys.com. That's a 5-blade razor, weighted handle, foaming shave gel, and travel cover, all for just $3, plus free shipping. That's razor, weighted handle, foaming shave gel, and travel cover, all for $3, shipped to you for free. Only at harrys.com, only with promo code PETRO.
Hey, Kansas City, it's Tim Grunhard. I love being a part of a winning team. If you're looking for a great place to work and want to help children and families find hope and joy, the Kids TLC in Olathe is hiring team players. Visit kidsdlc.org and attend one of the upcoming recruiting events. Come join the Kids TLC team for a game-changing career move. Visit kidstlc.org for more information.
With its dedication to bringing wellness to Kansas City, CBD American Shaman is excited to announce the opening of Shaman's Leawood Total Wellness at 117th and Row in Leawood, offering primary care, family medicine, hormone replacement therapy, medical weight loss, medical aesthetics, and IV nutrient therapy. Stop by today to see everything they have to offer, including a full-service CBD American Shaman store. Start your journey at LeewoodTotalWellness.com. Life is better with the feather.
The Chiefs are going back to the Super Bowl.
Super Bowl 55 is coming to America's largest all-sports radio station, Sports Radio 810, WHB.
The road to repeat for Kansas City will run through Tampa.
As the Chiefs get set to run it back. Follow all the action right here on your home for the NFL playoffs and the Super Bowl. Sports Radio 810 WHB. Super Bowl 55, Sunday at 5 p.m. on Sports Radio 810 WHB, Kansas City.
WHB Kansas City.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Jim Basketball. Fourth quarter in Brooklyn. Raptors up a point, 111-110. Story of this game, Kevin Durant. He's out for the remainder of the game for health and safety protocols. Didn't start the game for that same reason. Then was cleared to play. Came off the bench for the first time in his 13-year career. And then under the direction of the league was taken out of the game. KD tweeted, "Free me." In a game in which James Harden has just 5 shots, Kyrie Irving's been invisible in the second half, and KD now out. The Nets now trail by 4 in the second half. Few finals in. Bucks 123-105 over the Cavs, behind 33 for Giannis. Brandon Ingram 30. Pelicans a point better than the Pacers. The defending World Series champs adding Trevor Bauer to their rotation. It's a 3-year, $102 million deal. Key $40 million up front in 21, and then $45 million in that second year in 22. He has opt-outs after each season. Jeff Passan, how the deal got done.
What changed in the end was the fact that the Dodgers included that opt-out after the first year and really loaded the money into the first 2 years. If you look at this contract, the Dodgers didn't want to lose Trevor Bauer after just 1 year. They're giving up a draft pick for him. And, to bring him in for just 1 year didn't make a ton of sense. To bring him in for 2 years makes all the sense in the world to them. And they loaded $85 million. This is essentially a 2-year, $85 million contract with a $17 million contingency option in case Bauer gets hurt at the end.
Marcell Ozuna re-upping with the Braves for 4 years.
It's Greeny looking forward to the Super Bowl, and the KOD pick is Kansas City 37, Tampa Bay 34. We'll find out if I was right, and we'll have complete reaction Monday with me, Greeny, starting 10 a.m. Eastern on ESPN Radio and ESPN+.
You're listening to Almost Entirely Sports
As you're eating it, you're sobbing because you know you're ashamed of yourself.
with Joshua Brisco.
But then afterwards, like the complete and utter shame sets in. So I had to leave it off because at 31 years old, I can't go somewhere and eat and just start crying in my roast beef and cheddar because I know I'm disgusting.
On Sports Radio 810 WHB.
We finally made it to the end of the week so we can finally talk about the Super Bowl that is so very nearly here. We've talked to Matt Verderame many times over the course of this NFL season. We'll talk to him one more time before the last game of the year begins. You can follow him on Twitter at Matt Verderame. Check out the Stacking the Box podcast. Read the Stacking the Box column, the Arrowhead Addict podcast. It all runs through Twitter. You can see it all at Matt Verderame. Matt, we are nearly there. How do you feel after yet another week of preparing for this football game?
I feel like I'm very ready for the game to be here.
Yes, me too.
It's been 2 weeks of nothing but nonsense. And the reality is these two teams have not changed over the last 2 weeks. I feel like as you go further and further down Super Bowl week and even a week leading up to that, it's almost like somehow like the narrative changes and somehow like one team gets magically better over 2 weeks and the other one all of a sudden has more issues. They haven't played in 2 weeks. They're the same teams. I'm just looking forward to getting it kicked off here on Sunday night.
It kind of reminds me of how things end up happening around March, maybe even late February, early March, certainly April into the NFL draft. Guys are moving up and down boards, and you think even post-combine. I know there's the measurements and the workouts and the interviews and everything,
right,
but they're not playing new games. Like, they've still got the same college tape at that point. What are we doing?
Yeah, I mean, it's always a fascinating phenomenon where you get, like, the receiver who's going to be a fourth-round pick out of, like, Abilene Christian, and then he goes to the combine and runs like a tenth of a second faster than you thought, and then you hear people come out who are like, well, I think he's a second-rounder. I mean, sure, his hands aren't any good and he can't run routes, but other than that, he's fantastic. It's like, well, I don't care that he ran a tenth of a second faster. The man has no hands. It's absolutely, it's a great analogy. That's exactly what it's like. And it's just, look, I get it. Everybody's filling airtime. Everybody's filling column space. But the reality is, it's a lot of hype for a football game.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
And I imagine you feel the same way. I genuinely believe it's going to be a good football game. And even if the result ends up being, whatever, if it's a blowout in the third quarter, frankly, I think I would take that right now because I think it would mean good things for the Chiefs. But this game is going, the number of legitimate storylines and implications in this game, I think, do keep it interesting all the way throughout these couple of weeks, even though, you're right, the line should not have been moving at any point this week, even though there have been things that have, I don't know, at least kept me intrigued. And I feel like right now that it's going to live up to the billing. Do you think the same way right now?
This might end up biting me in the rear. I do not think it's going to be that close to the game.
Whoa!
I think the Chiefs are going to handle them pretty convincingly. And I'll be honest, part of it is just, I'm a big matchups, like styles make fights.
Mm-hmm.
They just do. And I get it. You can sit there and say, well, 27-24. Look, we all on this show, I mean, anyone who's listening to this who's a Chiefs fan, watch that game.
Yes.
That game was not close.
It was not.
Kansas City took them apart in that game. They had 550 yards and had a drop 90-yard touchdown. And I keep hearing, well, the Buccaneers, they're a different team. Why are they different? Oh, well, they haven't lost since. Well, neither have the Chiefs.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, well, what makes them any different? Vita Vea? Vita Vea's a good player. He's not making up a 17-point swing.
Right.
So I get it. I do respect Camp. I think Camp is good. And I think if the Chiefs turn the ball over and they really struggle up front, then yes, then it becomes a game they can lose. But to me, I picked the game 30-20. And I'm not picking it to be 35-7, but I look at the game. I think the Chiefs can blitz Brady. I think they can guard their receivers one-on-one. The Chiefs secondary, to me, is the biggest underplayed storyline of this game. Nobody is talking about them. They are miles better than anyone's giving them credit for, and they're going to allow the Chiefs to blitz Brady unendingly. Nate Christensen, who covers the Chiefs over, I believe at Arrowhead, guys, does a nice job. He pointed out on Twitter, in the playoffs, when Brady's under pressure, his completion percentage is 28%.
Oof!
they are going to unload on Brady in this game. And I just think ultimately on the other side, I do think Tampa gets pressure. I do. But even if you have a great day, what are you getting pressure on? 1 out of every 3 dropbacks?
Yeah.
Like, they're going to have to strip sack Mahomes. They're going to have to force turnovers. If they don't do that, I don't care.
Yeah.
They're not going to get pressure on him enough to win the. Nobody is getting pressure on him more than Nick Bosa did in the Super Bowl last year.
Yep.
And she scored 31 points.
Yeah.
So I just look. I think Tampa's a worthy opponent. I think they'll be in the game, but I think it's going to kind of be a game where you just look at it and you never really feel like the Chiefs are truly in danger of losing.
And they played at least a dozen of those this year, especially later in the season. All those one-possession games, not all of them. The Falcons game was actually kind of spooky, but almost all of those one-possession games, quote unquote, felt that way. And I will say this: you said that no one's talking about the Chiefs secondary enough, and I will say that the one advantage for me of there being 2 weeks of looking at this game, I am distracted by shiny things. Everyone in my life knows this in a very literal and a figurative way. I like receivers. No, it definitely is. At this point, it's beyond a problem, and it's more like a personality trait, which is in and of itself a problem. But like I like quarterbacks and receivers, and I know that about myself. But somewhere also, I got bored. And the more that I've looked at this Chiefs secondary, and the more I've looked back at these last 2 weeks with Juan Thornhill looking like his legit self, he talked about it during media availabilities this week of feeling like he's mentally 100% and became that at the start of the playoffs. I feel bothered. Like I am bothered about how good I feel about the Chiefs secondary against this particular offense. And it sounds like you feel very similarly.
I do. And I think Thornhill's, I don't want to say development, but really just his recovery from this injury, which really looked like finally for the first time in the AFC title game, he was full tilt. It's a big deal.
Yeah.
So you can now play more cover one. You can bring Matthew down. You can let him roll. And look, I've seen this argument, and this is what I talk about Super Bowl week stuff. Like, well, the Bucs actually have a more talented roster. There's 6 guys. Excuse me. There are 7 guys who I think in this game you look at and say they could really change the complexion of the game. 5 of those guys are on Kansas City.
Mm-hmm.
Jones, Matthew, the 3 guys on offense, we all know who they are. I think on Tampa, Brady has to be the quarterback.
Yep.
Okay, and he is an all-time great player. So Brady's there. And then on the other side, I'll be fair. I'm couching this a little bit. I'm combining them. The edge rushers, the tandem edge rushers for the Bucs.
Mm-hmm.
Like, to me, I know, you want to make an argument for Evans or Godwin or Brown, but the reality is, I don't think one of those guys by themselves is going to take the game over. I think that would be a case where Brady is just out of his mind. But Brady has not been out of his mind in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I went back and watched. Forget about Washington. No offense to Washington. Not quite on a normal playoff level.
Mm-hmm.
New Orleans, the Buccaneers could do nothing in that game offensively. They got 4 turnovers. And Brady was throwing one helium ball after the next. The things couldn't come down with. Like, look, I get it. We're all supposed to sit here and talk about how this game is going to come right down to it, and maybe it does. It's certainly possible it does. I look at this game personally, and I don't see that. I think the Bills are a better team than Tampa, and Kansas City took them apart at the joints for 60 minutes. I don't see any reason, like Allen at this point in his career is a more talented player than Brady. Now, Brady's much more experienced.
Right.
But Allen's more talented. Diggs is a better receiver than anybody Tampa has.
Yeah.
Buffalo has a much better secondary. They have as good linebackers. Like, and what does it matter? The Chiefs just destroyed them the entire game. And they have great coaches too. Like, I don't know. I think this is a very hard game. If the Chiefs don't turn the ball over, they're not losing this game.
The Tampa to Buffalo math. I promise. I was doing that math in my head this morning. I went back and I looked at the Bills game and wait a second. Now that game never really felt particularly in danger. What exactly can the Buccaneers do that's going to feel different than what the Bills were attempting to do? And I think your point from earlier about the pass rushes is so excellent because the best pass rush in the world against the NFL's worst offensive line is getting really, really disruptive. If you moved all the sliders half the time, would be insane. It would be a historic pass rush performance. And the Chiefs have been dealing with a banged up offensive line all year long. Like, it's just one more piece at this point. No shade to Eric Fisher. It's a big piece. They lost their left tackle. But Wiley was good at right tackle last time he was out there. Stefan Wisniewski might be the better of the right guards. Like, I think it's going to be fine.
Well, I'll ask this. Who of this year, of teams they've played, who do you think had the best defense that they've seen all year long?
The Chiefs have played this year?
Yeah.
I mean, we've talked about New Orleans' pass rush a bunch. Is that where you're headed?
Okay. Yeah. I think New Orleans is the best defense they've played all year. New Orleans can play on the back end. DeMario Davis is an all-pro linebacker, and they've got a really good – their front's better than Tampa's.
Mm-hmm.
Straight up. I mean, especially the right rushers. They're both better. Hendricks was better, and Cam Jordan might be in the Hall of Fame one day.
Mm.
Okay, no offense to Shaq Barrett and Jason Pierre-Paul. They're not going to the Hall of Fame.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the Chiefs played that game with as banged up. I mean, I know Fisher played. Fisher couldn't even move in that game.
Yep.
And they're playing Wiley at right tackle. Remmers isn't playing. A whole deal. You mentioned Wiley. Wiley was excellent. Played really well in that game. The main reason they gave up a lot of pressure in that game, and I give him credit for trying, but Fisher just could not move.
Yeah.
And he was getting beat around the edge. But the point I bring up, everybody talks about, geez, Mahomes really got hit in that game. He scored 32 points and 34 first downs. Like, what did it matter? Who cares?
Yeah.
I mean, it just didn't matter. It didn't matter. That game was never in doubt late.
No.
And that was on the road against a team that, to me, is as good as Tampa.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, and then, you know what? Also, and I get Vita Vea didn't play in the first matchup. Fisher did. I understand that. They played each other already this year.
Yeah.
The Bucs sacked Mahomes twice for 6 yards. I got to tell you, that's not cutting it on Sunday. Now, they did strip sack him once. They took away what would have been points. The Chiefs were up 17-0, and they strip sacked him in the red zone. That is, to me, if you're the Chiefs, and I know, look, you can't just say, hey, we're not going to get strip sacked, but that's the thing. The ball's got to get out. Get the ball out. Don't get sacked. Don't stand there and give them a chance to really rip at the ball. If you're Mahomes, to me, that's the game. Yeah. Because they cannot cover the Chiefs. They play a ton of zone. They play a ton of one high safety. And all those things, like, they cannot do that against Kansas City. So they're going to have to do a whole bunch of things they're not used to doing. They have played dime coverage this year on 8 snaps.
It's crazy.
8
That's unbelievable.
Snaps the whole year. I mean, they are not going to play dime. They're going to sit in nickel, which is all that they do. They're 30th in the league against the pass when they're in base defense. So they're excellent against nickel or in nickel because their linebackers are good. Devin White can't cover, but he's a phenomenal blitzer. He leads the team. He has 9 sacks. Devin White's not blitzing in this game. So you have to put him in coverage. Well, that's not his strong suit. They have to play man. They don't play man because their corners are not good enough typically to play man. They're okay. They're not above average. They are not equipped. They want to play an aggressive zone scheme where they blitz like crazy and they can play single high because they figure they're going to get home quick enough that you're not going to be able to exploit it. Well, with Tyreek Hill, the Chiefs can just go bombs away the whole game if they want to. We saw that the first time.
Yeah.
It puts them in a bind. The Buccaneers have to play this game totally different than they want to. Kansas City can play it exactly how they want to.
I think that is such a fascinating way of setting it up. Could you make? I mean, I think you've laid out as to what would happen here. Could you make the argument that if you're if you're the Buccaneers, to say, you know what, we're going to play it how we want to, and we're just going to see how it goes? I imagine that game would look a lot like the first quarter, the first time these teams played, but I don't know. Is there an argument that maybe that's even worth an attempt? Because it seems like them playing out of their character is also going to end disastrously.
Right, and most teams don't. Like, I talked to Wade Phillips for a half an hour earlier this week on the phone, and I said, listen, Coach, you've been in the league 45 years. You won a Super Bowl. You've been to a few as a coordinator. Give me your blueprint. And he basically said to me, I mean, I'm paraphrasing this, but he basically said, you got to try to double Hill, but you have to do so many different little things just to successfully even double him because he moves around so much. And he went through a lot of different things. I just bluntly asked him afterwards, I said, if they don't get 4 or they don't get pressure before all game long. Can they win? He said, absolutely not. They cannot win. And so to me, like, look, you know, I think if you're the Bucs, you have to change the way you play because they tried to play the way they wanted to play in Week 12, and that was not good.
Yep.
that was 1,000-yard pace after a quarter.
Yeah.
So it's hard, but you're right. Like most teams do not change. Now, the one thing that I will be fascinated by is they love to put Levante David man-on-man with tight ends. And I have a lot of respect for Levante David. If they put him man-on-man with Travis Kelce, I can pretty much tell you where the ball is going every time they snap it. That ball is going to Travis Kelce. So it's hard. Look, the Chiefs are just overwhelming. The Buccaneers are going to need them to make mistakes. They're going to have to, frankly, get what they had against the Packers. Couple of turnovers, couple of big defensive stops, get them to bog down the red zone. I mean, Adams dropped that touchdown pass. Rodgers didn't run when he should have. I mean, that kind of stuff. They are going to need that, and they're going to need Brady to play better. Because to their credit, they did survive him throwing 3 picks in the second half.
Yeah.
I mean, against Kansas City, I think we can all agree, including probably Buccaneers fans, he's maybe the players. He cannot do that in this game.
Yeah.
He throws 2 or 3 interceptions this game. They will get blown out of the building. So we'll see. But I think the Chiefs are in a very good position to win this game.
I think that the analysis on Chiefs offense versus Bucs defense, I feel superb about. It's one of the reasons I think also that this week I've become even more interested in the Chiefs defense. And I know that you had a chance to talk to L'Jarius Sneed for a while. This dude is this comes with a lot of baggage for me. But I said this several weeks ago, and I'm saying it again. This may have even been before he ended up being, the Chiefs' new best edge rusher, which I say sort of facetiously, but also kind of serious. Like, he's good at that. L'Jarius Sneed has made me feel some things that I have not felt from a Chiefs cornerback since Marcus Peters was sent out of town. I listen. You can say whatever you want about Marcus Peters, and you might be right. I loved watching that dude play corner. I still do. L'Jarius Sneed has a little bit of that seasoning on his game, man. I am so happy with how he's developed this year. What did you learn from talking to him?
First of all, he was a great guy. We talked Saturday night. He agreed to speak exclusively with us over at Fanside, and he was excellent. And we talked about a lot of things. It's funny, you mentioned the blitzing and the 4 sacks in the last 4 games. I asked him about it. I said, L'Jarius, where does that come from? Is that something you've been working on? Is that something you've done a lot in college? And he laughed. He said, I've never done it before in my life.
It's so good, man.
He was like, I'm fast and I can just beat the tackle to the edge. And that was his whole explanation. Now, obviously, there's more than that to it, but that was how he feels. He was, to kind of sum up the conversation, probably talked for about 20 minutes. He was very confident. He talked about Tyrann Mathieu. They're both from Louisiana. And he talked about how he's been a big brother to him and how he loves how much that Tyrann loves the game and how the whole defense feeds off that. It was something I talked to the DB's coach, Jeff Burris, who's a 10-year veteran in the NFL. He's now the DB coach over at Louisiana Tech, where Sneed is from. And, he talked about, he said, L'Jarius, pretty quiet kid, a lot of confidence. We moved him all over our defense. He played inside, he played outside, he played safety. We asked him to do just about everything, and he excelled at it. But listen, I don't think my biggest takeaway from talking to Sneed was that he's a confident kid, and he's willing to do whatever he's asked to do. But I think there's definitely a little bit of that chip on the shoulder. He flat out told me he was pissed he got drafted in the 4th round, and he thought he was going to go to the Raiders or the Cowboys.
Yeah, I'm very glad that he did.
He only talked once to the Chiefs before he got drafted.
And you mentioned this part of it in the piece, but the learning curve and everything. But Sneed went from predominantly safety at La Tech to coming in and developing in the COVID offseason with weird training camp and not having the traditional OTAs and everything. He comes in and he steps in immediately for Bashaud Breeland because he's suspended for 4 games. He does that. He breaks his collarbone. He comes back, and over the course of rehabbing the collarbone, he's learning to play the nickel position, and he's playing on the slot, and he's learning how to blitz and all that stuff. I don't know if there's a higher degree of difficulty for a rookie playing that position that I've ever seen. It's unbelievable.
No, and it's funny. I remember in the summer, I reached out to someone with the Chiefs, and I said, talk to me. I do this with a lot of teams around the league. I always try to do this the week before the season. Try to talk to some people in personnel, some coaches. Hey, look, give me a guy or two to watch this year from your team. Give me somebody who maybe isn't a name yet. And a lot of times you'll get the first round pick, or you'll get maybe a kid in the second or third year. With the Chiefs, it was like, you need to watch L'Jarius Sneed. That's who you need to watch. This kid's going to be really, really good right away. And I have the receipts. You can go back and look at my column the week before the season. Look, they were confident then. And, in doing this piece, and just trying to get some information and get some idea of the way the Chiefs were thinking, it's my understanding that basically they feel like right now he's the best and most versatile corner on the team. And that, when he got hurt in week 3, as you mentioned, he was filling in for Breeland. So he was playing on the outside. Of course, Breeland comes back. Snead comes back after missing 7 games. And the Chiefs, my understanding, has had an internal discussion about, look, he's never played slot, even at Louisiana Tech, but we have to get him on the field. He has to be on the field. And they essentially went to him and said, look, you're going to play inside. We need you on the field. You're too good to put you on the bench, but we're not going to bench Breeland. And that's what happened. And he's been, and I know they are, even by their standards, surprised at how good he's been. And the blitzing thing came out of nowhere. That was something they had no clue he could blitz.
Neither did he. He didn't know.
Right.
Yeah.
He had no idea. So, that was basically like a happy accident where they're like, listen, we're going to blitz, and he got a sack. Like, oh, we'll do it again. He got another sack. So he has been tremendous. I know Brett Deitch said recently in a press conference that if they did the draft again, he might go in the first round.
Yeah.
Talking to people around the league, he would definitely go in the first round. He might even be like a top 20 pick. He has been phenomenal, and he's going to have a big role in this game. He is going to get Antonio Brown, he's going to get Chris Godwin, he's going to get Scotty Miller, and the Chiefs are not going to give him a lot of help. It is going to be a big, big role and some big shoes to fill in the Super Bowl for Snead.
I'm glad that you mentioned the matchups, and again, that comes up in the column on or the piece on Fansided also. Go read it; it's great, man. This is wonderful. Everyone should go check this out. It's Verderam's pinned tweet right now at Matt Verderam. You mentioned the likely matchups here, and I've been obviously talking about this game all week, and I've been talking about it, doing hits on other radio stations around the country and also Canada. I don't know why, but I've been on in Canada multiple times, and it always makes me happy because it's just kind of funny.
Where were you on in Canada?
I've been on in Canada multiple places. The most recent one that I did was in French, and I don't speak French, so we had a translator.
Wow.
Yeah.
I've never done that. I've been on in Vancouver and Winnipeg this week, and it's been good. I like going north of the border.
It's fun. Yeah, I don't know why. It's got a little different vibe to it, and I know that if I go down while I'm on the phone, I might have a chance of getting better health care just by being on in Canada. I don't know.
Good luck with that.
Yeah, I don't think that would work, but it's the only thing I can think of. And then also Tim Hortons, I guess. I don't know. I've also never been to Tim Hortons. But I've brought up the Snead, specifically the Snead thing, and then also the matchups across the field in the secondary, where I go, you know what? I kind of like Bashaud Breeland versus Mike Evans. Like this is Seth Kaiser's take is that it'll depend on what the refs let them both get away with, but like that might just be a little boxing match over there. I like that. I feel pretty good. This is crazy. I feel pretty good about the 4th round rookie safety turns every guy playing up against Antonio Brown, a likely future Hall of Famer in the slot in the Super Bowl 1-on-1. I feel pretty good about that. I feel okay about him up against Chris Godwin because we know Snead has that speed. Charvarius Ward, who at least early in the season, certainly before the season last year, I think was everybody's favorite corner on the roster. He's the guy I'm most nervous about. I'm not really that nervous about it. I just don't know who he makes the most sense matching up against necessarily. But beyond Snead, but with Snead, Breeland, Ward, and everything you think they're going to try to do against this Tampa passing game to still allow themselves to blitz plenty, what are you expecting in the specifics of those matchups?
First of all, you're not crazy. I think Snead has an advantage. I don't care who he's playing against. He's been that good.
It's just an incredible thing to say. You're right, though. Yeah.
He's been that good. And by the way, Breeland and Evans, they might as well just put a ring around those.
Yeah.
That is going to be Brashad Breeland basically saying to the officials, go ahead and call it.
Yes.
Here he comes. I am going to maul him at the line of scrimmage. And if you're not calling it every time, I mean, that's going to be extreme. I'm with you. Like, I think Breland will be fine. I really do. I think Snead will be fine. My curiosity in this game, now, I will say, one thing that's kind of gone under the radar, maybe you've talked about it in the show already, but Cameron Brate being questionable, the back injury for them, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
That's a really, really big deal because I actually thought the best way for the Bucs to come out and attack them was a 2 tight end set and force the Chiefs into a decision. Do you go bigger and bring a linebacker on and take one of your secondary guys out? And if the Chiefs say, no, we're going to stay in dime, then you can run the ball because Gronkowski's basically an extra offensive lineman. And then you start running the ball into good down and distances. Or the Chiefs do go to nickel, and then you throw the ball and you're getting Damian Wilson on Braid or you're getting Hitchens on Gronkowski.
Yeah.
And you feel really good about that. Now, if Braid cannot go in this game, that's, to me, a massive thing. Now, I also wonder, how do the Chiefs guard Gronkowski? Gronkowski had his best game of the year against the Chiefs, over 100 yards. But as the game wore on, the Chiefs started putting Tyrann Mathieu on him, and that stopped immediately. Now, I wonder in this game, do you want Mathieu to have that freedom? Like, I will never know a tenth of the football Steve Spagnuolo knows. But in my head, if they're going to go with that dime look, does it make sense to put Sorensen on Gronkowski?
Yeah.
Who, in Gronkowski's prime, let's be real, like I respect him and like Dan Sorensen a lot. I think Gronkowski would eat alive. But
absolutely.
At this stage, I think Sorensen can at least do a reasonable job. And then you still have Mathieu to roam around and do all the things that he likes to do. So I think, look, the biggest concern I would have is just that Tampa with the tight ends. That is the bigger worry. Yeah, look, they're going to get something here and there to the running backs, fine. The tight ends, I think, are the bigger concern. I think the Chiefs are going to be fine on the outside. I really do. I think the Chiefs are going to play very, very well against the receivers. What do the Chiefs do against these tight ends? I'm very interested to see how that unfolds.
Let's say Brate plays and that he is healthy, and that's something that they can force on the Chiefs. I think that's a fascinating look. If they are playing the 2 tight end set, and I think Sorensen makes a lot of sense to say, all right, Sorensen versus 2020, 2021 Gronk, I think has a shot. The interesting thing there is that could, if they wanted to play it that way, allow them to have a similar personnel setup as they did against the Bills, where you had a linebacker on the field. You had a single linebacker on the field most of the time. I think Hitchens had 75% of the snaps, and Wilson had like 40, and Neiman had like 10 or something like that. Some crazy. I might have flipped Neiman and Wilson, but if you do put out the incredibly DB heavy. I think there were a few snaps, both against the Bills and against the Bucs last time, where there might have been 7 DBs. There might have also been Neiman. Regardless, anyway, shiny. I get distracted by shiny things sometimes. But you go into these dime sets and all that stuff. I think that's where the Chiefs are where Spags is most sort of content with his personnel. But if the Bucs see that and think, well, we'll run it or we'll go tight end heavy, that might be a place where they could move the needle a little bit. But Sorensen's versatility in that regard, I think, maybe gives the Chiefs the flexibility that they need right back again.
Agreed. And that's where, if I'm Spagnuolo, if they do that, like let's say you come out and you're in that defense you played the majority of the game against Buffalo, right? You come out in a 4-1-6. Tampa says, we're going to counter. We're going to have a back, 2 tight ends, and 2 receivers. Okay, so now you have 3 corners on the field. If I'm the Chiefs, I say, you know what? Fine. Guess what? Let's say you have Evans and Godwin on the field. Okay, I'm gonna take one of my corners and I'm gonna put him on Gronkowski. You're not throwing the ball there, and I'm gonna keep Breland on Evans, and I'm either putting Ward or Snead on Gronkowski. You're not going to throw the ball, and I'm putting Sorensen down in the box, and I'm putting Mathieu down in the box as pseudo linebackers. 7-man in the box. Now it's a lighter box. Let's be real. They're not actual linebackers. But if you're the Chiefs, the other thing you can do if you're going to do that is up front. Maybe you go heavy up front. You go Noddy and Pinnell on the inside. You kick Jones outside. You put Clark on the outside. You know there are different ways to. And now look, the danger in that for Tampa is you better be able to run the ball for good yardage.
Yeah.
Because if you start doing that and it's 2nd and 9, it's 3rd and 7, now you got a problem. So I do think it's an interesting look. If I were Tampa, I'd at least try it. I would try to get Kansas City out of time because I got to say that time the Chiefs. It was a genius stroke by Spagnuolo. I do not think they're going to go away from it. I think if you're Kansas City, let's be real. I mean, do you care if Leonard Fournette runs for 80 yards in this game?
No, I don't care what Leonard Fournette does at all. It doesn't matter.
The Chiefs will grab him by the hand and skip down the field with it. Here you go, run the ball, right? Like they don't care. So this game again, it's going to come down, in my opinion. Can Tampa Bay force a couple of turnovers, convert those into touchdowns? If they can do that, I think they have a real shot to win the game. If they can't do it, I don't care, and I know I'm preaching to the choir at this one. I don't care about time possession. It's a waste of a stat.
Amen.
Tampa Bay is not winning this game because they held the ball for 33 minutes.
Right.
It doesn't matter.
It does not.
It makes no difference because at the end of the day, still all going to have the same amount of possessions as each other. Turnovers are the things that flip that. Yeah. Tampa's got to turn them over to win this game. If Tampa does not turn them over, they are not going to stop them enough. There's no reason to think the Bucs are getting a 30-plus in this game. They've barely gotten a 30-plus the last 2 weeks, and they've gotten 6 turnovers. Like, why are they all of a sudden? It's not like Kansas City's defense is better than the Packers' defense. Like, why all of a sudden are the Chiefs going to just give up 30-plus points? They're not. They barely even played in the fourth quarter of the first matchup, and they gave up 24. So I get it. There's a lot of different ways to slice the thing, and certainly we could for hours on end. But the reality is, if the Chiefs protect the ball, they don't kill themselves with penalties, they'll win the game. They're just better. They're better in more spots. They're better at the most important spot. That's football.
Just a perfect dismount. Just feel great about all that. Matt, always a pleasure to talk to you. Always great to talk to you during the season. Look forward to talking to you after this all wraps up and after the Chiefs have won back-to-back championships. Thank you, Matt.
Sounds good. Take care.
Matt Verderam of Fansided. Follow him on Twitter at Matt Verderam. Check out the piece on the Jarius Sneed up on Fansided. Also, the Wade Phillips piece coming soon. Just follow him on Twitter at Matt Verderam. You can check out Stacking the Box. You can check out the Arrowhead Addict podcast. It's all there, all through his Twitter account or all up on fansided.com. I love pretty much every single thing that he said there for about 30 straight minutes. I hope you did too.
Want more Almost Entirely Sports? Watch the show live on the Sports Radio 810 Facebook page.
Hey, Kansas City, this is Steven St. John. Are you still looking for a great Valentine gift for your special someone? Then give her the next best thing to wearing nothing at all with soft, silky, naturally nude pajamas available exclusively from our friends at Pajamagram.com. Sensuous and smooth, naturally nude pajamas feel just like her own soft skin. She'll love slipping these on every night all year round because the texture and touch of naturally nude pajamas is so soft and luxurious, they'll melt away her stress. She'll love the feeling of wearing next to nothing at all, and you'll love the way they look. I know I love the way they look. Check them out at Pajamagram.com. And best of all, every Pajamagram includes free gift packaging, which means you don't have to wrap a thing. So get her naturally nude pajamas and get your free gift packaging today. Just go to Pajamagram.com. It's fast and it's easy, and delivery by Valentine's Day is guaranteed. That's Pajamagram.com. And please tell them Steven St. John sent you.
This Valentine's Hen House is your one-stop for everything roses. Get the freshest dozen rose bouquet available for that special person in your life. Several colors to choose from. If you have a special request, Hen House has trained floral designers that are eager to create that unique design just for you. No waiting. Hen House has set up express checkout lanes to help you obtain roses for your sweetheart quickly and conveniently, so there's more time for romance. Get everything you need for Valentine's Day at your local Hen House.
You've probably heard Tom Shane on the radio for years, but have you actually experienced a visit to Shane Company? If you're planning to pop the question on Valentine's Day, we're the destination for you. You just gotta go to the store, or you can go online to create an engagement ring that fits your budget and reflects her personal style. We're talking a massive selection of always natural, always ethically sourced diamonds, rubies, and sapphires, plus a huge assortment of ring settings in every price range. Our team of jewelry consultants will help you find exactly what you're looking for. And you can expect zero pressure because they're all non-commissioned. When you're done collaborating, her engagement ring will look spectacular, like nobody else's ring. She'll get all the compliments, you'll get all the credit. And get this, with their warranty, if anything happens to the ring, they've got you covered for life, for free. Do yourself a favor and get your engagement ring your way, only at Shane Company.
Now you have a friend in the jewelry business, Shane Company and ShaneCo.com.
With its dedication to bringing wellness to Kansas City, CBD American Shaman is excited to announce the opening of Shaman's Leawood Total Wellness at 117th and Row in Leawood, offering primary care, family medicine, hormone replacement therapy, medical weight loss, medical aesthetics, and IV nutrient therapy. Stop by today to see everything they have to offer, including a full-service CBD American Shaman store. Start your journey at LeewoodTotalWellness.com. Life is better with the feather.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/news. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job in ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And now you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
You're listening to Almost Entirely Sports.
Dr. Professor, I'll ask you the same question. Loyola Chicago versus Michigan. What are you seeing?
I'm going to say Loyola.
Yep, that was right. That was exactly right. You nailed it. First try.
Yes, because of their defensive tight end.
With Joshua Brisco.
I'm
starting to think that Dr. Professor might be a one-sport pony.
It's a really good tight end over there.
A few moments later.
Tight end is a football term, isn't it?
On Sports Radio 810 WHB.
It's nice to break out some old liners every once in a while, and that is a vintage one right there.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks again to Matt Verderam of Fansided for joining us. He wasn't on Radio Row, but he's a part of our Super Bowl 55 coverage, so I'm going to tell you that he's brought to you by Central Bank of the Midwest, CBD American Shaman, Tickets for Less, and Premier Mazda of Kansas City. I'll mention this as well. We got 24 hours of pregame coverage starting at 5 o'clock tomorrow. It'll take you all the way up to kickoff of Super Bowl 55, which you will hear right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB, your home for the NFL. The post-game show, yours truly, Beards will be on the other side of the glass. I have no idea how long the show is going to go. I imagine that regardless, it will be certainly our longest post-game show of the year. The only question is, will it be as long as the post-game show was after the Super Bowl last year, where we went until the Border Patrol started on Monday morning.
I assume you'll go kind of until phone calls stop.
I definitely feel good about that.
Cool. I'm going to set an alarm
to
wake up every 10 minutes just to place a call.
I'll tell you what.
Oh, I was trying to figure out which one of my devices was going off. I set off Siri.
I'll tell you what. If you have the wherewithal to have your iPad remind you every 10 minutes to wake up and call into the show again, then we will keep doing the show. At that point, though, you might as well just come back into the studio and sit in that chair and then just help me do the show at 4 a.m.
That's not fun. Because
waking up every 5 minutes
each time I call in, I'm going to be a different person.
Oh, really?
Character creation, baby.
That's not, all right. I would be interested to see how many you got in there,
Probably not many.
We're gonna get through your entire SNL audition in about 4 calls, I think. You know what I gotta fix about myself?
Weirdly, Spags would call in 10, 11 times during the show. What time is it right now, John Brisco?
It's like, Rudy, we can see your phone number. I don't know. I actually don't think we can. Can we?
No.
Are we sure?
Yeah.
Well. Something I gotta fix about myself other than everything? You mentioned
Good thing you said it.
You mentioned the every 10-minute waking up thing. I've told you before about the fact that the second best thing about my Apple Watch. It's an older one. It's not. This is not a fancy feature that is only available on the new versions. Also, I got this band that is stretchy and
Very nice.
it doesn't clip anywhere. It's wonderful.
It's got some of those AES colors.
It's a little. You know what? I hadn't even thought about that.
A little AES.
It's like if AES was in Arizona, basically. It's sort of the whole vibe of the whole thing.
It is a very strong Arizona design.
Yeah, and so I really like it, but it's also incredibly comfortable. Like I basically forget that I'm wearing it in a way that I never have with other bands before.
Which that is like the hardest part about any of the new, like whether you have a Fitbit, Apple Watch, it is the band, right? Getting that right band that feels good. It doesn't like hurt because like I had a Fitbit that honestly felt fine.
Yeah.
But then halfway during the day you might just have to take it off, right? So for 4 or 5 hours you wouldn't notice it. But the point of a watch is that you can wear it all day. That you shouldn't have to take it off halfway during the day because your wrist is a little hurt.
And for whatever reason, the Apple Watch, even the bands that I've liked, it feels like there's something going on there that's a little more unwieldy than even a normal watch. I don't know. I like this one a lot though. I also got a transparent one for Christmas that I like a lot, but it's got a couple sort of smaller cosmetic issues that I got to figure out. The best thing about this one though is I can wear it when I'm sleeping. So are you tracking your sleep and everything? I would, but none of the apps are very good at it, so I'm not right now. The main thing though is that you can set it up to silently buzz, and it also gives you like a haptic, alarm that is startling because it just buzzes like you're getting 1,000 notifications, and it'll wake you up. I've been having 2 issues though. One is that I feel like it's missing some of the early ones for some reason. I don't know why. That's like a troubleshooting thing that I've got to figure out in my own time. The other issue is that I am only getting worse. End of sentence. I am only getting worse at snoozing alarms just over and over and over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Like this morning we did times ours at 7. And if I start doing the math of like how much I've talked today and how long, like, it's not great. And listen, Rudy, me complaining to Rudy about this, deaf ears.
No. Here's the thing.
You've been here since 6 a.m.
Well, today I wasn't, to be fair. Today I had to go home, take a nap.
You got here at 6 a.m. and then took a 20-minute midday nap.
I got here at 5:30 a.m. Now, the last 2 days, I did 18-hour shifts, Wednesday and Thursday.
That's bleeped up.
Those are brutal.
That's unhealthy. That's not good. That's not...
We're getting through.
Super Bowl week.
Surviving.
Super Bowl week, Radio Row. I've only gotten worse at the snoozing, though. To the point where I literally had an alarm today that I didn't ultimately need, but I had a 6:55 alarm after my first one was at 6. I got a 6. I got a 6:15. I got a 6:30. I got a 6:45, which is when I actually got out of bed. And then I got a 6:55 that's just like, yo, you need to fall out of bed and get into the chair up to the microphone right now, or else, Seth is going to formally disown you, which would be devastating to my career.
You knew, just this little side note because it just popped up. You did know, I assume Jose Canseco was in a fight tonight?
Yeah.
He lost.
No!
He just lost. Jose Canseco just lost.
He just lost to a Barstool intern, right?
A Barstool intern, yep, who looks kind of like a Paul brother. First round, I think, too. Yep, first round.
Did he get knocked out?
A video. The Lebatard show just tweeted out a video.
All right, I guess I'll go. Oh, yep. All right, down goes Jose.
Oh wow! He got him first round KO.
I gotta be honest. Neither of these guys look like particularly excellent fighters. If I can say that.
No, for sure. But to be fair, one of them is an intern.
Yeah, that's
at a media company who played Division III football.
That's a great point.
And the other one did play professional basebal, but neither of them are boxers.
No, that's very fair. That does make me feel a bit. It's just very messy looking,
for sure.
And then Canseco just tries to tackle him, and then somehow gets knocked out anyway, in a way that I don't fully understand. It does make me think that me and my new punching bag in the basement could beat up like Barry Bonds. I guess I don't know.
I think you could take Jose Canseco.
He's jacked. And he also got beat up by an intern.
A lot of steroids.
Ooh, that's true. Is that real muscle?
Oh, God, no.
Does that work, though? I mean, does it work like real muscle? It's not silicone.
I mean, it still hits hard. Yeah. Here's the thing. I think it wouldn't be too terribly hard to dodge some of his punches, I think. Like, I don't think his punches are necessarily coming in with speed. But without a doubt, if he connects, like, in the head, like for me, for example, if I'm boxing Jose, if he gets one shot to, like, anywhere in the upper body, I'm down. Like, I'm just down.
Who is the professional? I want this from all three of us. I want all three of us to come up with the answer here. Who is the professional athlete? You're like, you know what? I'll take my chances.
Harrison Butker.
Absolutely not. That dude is sneakily like 6'6".
That's true. That's a good point.
You're taller than me.
But he's
Butker
taller.
towers over me. His reach, and by the way, especially if we get a little MMA action, he is literally kicking your ass out of the ring.
I'm trying to think of the sport to focus on here because it's not going to be football because they're all huge.
They're all huge.
It's not going to be basketball because they're also all huge.
Yeah.
It's not going to be hockey because all they do is fight.
They can all fight probably, at least a little bit.
Is it just baseball? Is there like somebody in baseball?
Your logic there, I think, is pretty good because you're right. I think I was talking to a girlfriend about this. I don't remember who the players were that came up.
Soccer?
Soccer's got some shorter dudes. If you're looking,
but they're all like ridiculously fit.
That's a great
all
point.
They do is run for 90 minutes.
One
a day.
thing too, again, and part of this depends on what. If we're talking boxing, so I feel like soccer players are at more of a disadvantage. Now, amazing feet,
They
right?
got
Their
good
footwork
feet.
is really good.
Their footwork's gonna bleep you up.
But boxing, a little bit. If they are not as effective
Can't
at
use
boxing
their hands. They don't know how to use their hands.
as MMA.
Their
Because in MMA,
true.
Their
hand-eye coordination, maybe it's not that great.
Yeah.
They got great foot-eye coordination.
Their footwork is great. You
Yeah.
may not be able to land any punches on them, but I don't know how many punches they're necessarily landing on you. Again, MMA, we got problems.
I was making Renee and I were talking about the fact it might have even been like Eric Fish or somebody, I don't know, who I've stood next to before.
He's a big man.
He's enormous. But then like Patrick Mahomes is like sneakily also a big dude, even though he looks like a small dude behind an offensive line of giants.
He looks like a normal. He looks like what probably the average person looks like when you compare him again to like Eric Fisher and Mitchell Schwartz, and then you sit next to him and you're like, oh yeah. Like he's my height.
You would be the
but
biggest,
with, like, bigger arms.
Yeah, you'd be the biggest, strongest person that I would know in real life, and you're like maybe the 20th biggest and strongest person currently on this football field with 22 people on it. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
It's crazy. And like Chris Jones weighs over 300 pounds, and he has a six-pack, and you're just like, how?
Anita on YouTube says, take a golfer.
That's not bad.
I was trying to stick to the more major sports.
You can say the real sports. That's fine.
Wow.
You can say the real sports.
I think I'd go after Dustin Johnson because his coordination in general seems bad. He just recently I think in the middle of a tournament just was walking and tripped and fell. I just think he might just fall. And, the cocaine. Win before you even started the fight.
So I think I've got an idea. We can include like retired athletes, right? I know Jose Canseco is.
Yeah, absolutely, yes.
I'm going for a pretty big name here, okay?
Yeah, because you have to go after somebody who everybody knows,
Yeah.
right? Like you don't want to go after. No offense to like a Nicky Lopez, but he's a local guy, right? You want to go
Who would
somebody
also throttle all of us.
Because here's
for
the
the
thing,
record.
I was thinking about baseball too, and I was okay. Royal Smalls player Nicky Lopez. I say no chance.
Not gonna work.
Not a chance.
Not gonna work.
No chance.
Jeff Gordon is 5'8".
Ooh, I like that. I like that.
At this point, he's 49 years old and he's 5'8".
I like Jeff Gordon.
He is probably still certainly in better cardiovascular shape than I am.
I don't know how much strength is there.
But I don't know how strong he is.
Yeah.
He's probably got strong hands, but he's not trying to like choke me out, That would also be bad news. He got good probably forearm strength steering that wheel.
Yeah.
But Jeff Gordon's 5'8". There's my nominee for now. If you come up with better ones, you can think about it during the break. And if you're watching the show right now on Facebook, Twitch, or YouTube, where you can watch Almost Entirely Sports every single night that we're on all three of those places, you can leave them in the comments, and we'll pick our favorite one whenever we come back.
At JB Brisco, at Beards McFly, at Not That Rudy, at Sports Radio 810. Just do it already.
The Chiefs are going back to the Super Bowl.
Can't wait for the Super Bowl? Neither can we. That's why Sports Radio 810 is bringing you wall-to-wall Chiefs beginning Saturday at 5. It's 24 hours of Chiefs pregame before Westwood One's presentation of Super Bowl 55.
The Kansas City Chiefs are back in business.
Keep it on Sports Radio 810 for 24 hours of Chiefs pregame coverage beginning Saturday at 5, then the Central Bank of the Midwest pregame show at 1 on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Winter is coming, so plan now to keep those bugs out with Augustine Exterminators. Now is the time to establish and or maintain a barrier around your house. Don't let it break down. At Augustine Exterminators, they have you covered. Augustine Exterminators is a family-owned, local business since 1966. All of their techs are certified in both Missouri and Kansas. In fact, check out their amazing reviews from all their KC area customers. They're also a Quality Pro and Green Pro company. Augustine also does carpet, rug, air duct, and tile cleaning. They have an excellent referral program as well. Refer a new customer, and you and they get $25 off their next service. That's right, refer a friend, and you both get $25 off your next service. Shop and buy local with Augustine Exterminators. Call Augustine Exterminators today at 913-359-8627 or go online at AugustineExterminators.com. And Augustine is looking for qualified technicians. So call today at 913-359-8627.
When you're thinking about New Orleans, why not let jazz cook for you?
Laissez le bon temps rouler. Let the good times roll. That's what we do at Jazz. Papa Vic here to tell you about what's happening at your favorite restaurant, Jazz, a Louisiana kitchen. COVID still got you down? No worries. We're open. Come in and let Jazz cook for you. We've partnered with Proactive Protect to provide nanotechnology protection that sanitizes all our tables, chairs, and the interior of the restaurant. So come on in. Everybody is safe. Tired of your mama's cooking? Check out our website, jazzkitchens.com, and place your order online or through Menufy. Not comfortable coming in? Check out our dedicated curbside parking spots, and we'll bring the taste of New Orleans to your car. 3 locations, the original at 39th and State Line, and at Legends of Village West, our newest location in Independence at I-70 and 291, just east of the Cable Dahmer Arena. Jazz, with a Dixieland band and a sultry day and everybody.
Yes, if you're dreaming about New Orleans, that jazz do your cooking up for you.
Jazz, where there's always a party every night.
Take your romance game to a whole new level this Valentine's with Diamonds Direct's most popular offer ever. 5 years, 0 interest financing on any purchase happening right now. You know jewelry is the perfect gift to celebrate your love. And with this incredible offer, you can afford to go big. Like a $6,000 diamond tennis bracelet, just $100 a month. Or a $3,000 pair of diamond earrings, just $50 a month. Diamonds Direct has teamed up with the world's top jewelry designers for an expanded selection of Valentine's surprises for any budget. Romantic gifts starting as low as $400. Rings, earrings, pendants, bands, colored gemstones. The guaranteed largest selection, highest quality, and always the best value. Whether you shop in store or online at diamondsdirect.com. Make this the most memorable Valentine's ever with 5 years, 0 interest financing on any purchase, including engagement rings. Now through Valentine's Day. Celebrate your love at Diamonds Direct
at 119th and Row. Hey, Kansas City fans, get your Chiefs limited edition Rawlings football now by calling 1-800-345-2868 or by visiting nicosports.com. Each fully engraved football is priced at only $99 and comes with an individually numbered certificate of authenticity. The football features their AFC Championship, Chiefs team history, logos, full season schedule with opponents, and a summary of Mahomes' accomplishments. It will be automatically upgraded to Super Bowl champs if they win. Fans can order now by calling 1-800-345-2868 or by visiting nicosports.com. That's 1-800-345-2868 or by visiting nicosports.com. A portion of the proceeds will be donated to Cornerstones of Care. So Kansas City fans, get your limited edition Chiefs Rawlings football now. Call 1-800-345-2868, 1-800-345-2868, or online at nicosports.com, nikcosports.com.
Live coverage from Radio Row is presented by Central Bank of the Midwest, CBD American Shaman, Tickets for Less, and Premier Mazda of Kansas City.
This is Almost Entirely Sports with Joshua Brisco.
I have some very Bono-esque pink glasses that I did not wear with this jacket today because I didn't want to get beat up in the hallway by Todd Lipa.
On Sports Radio 810 WHB.
A lot going on the Twitch around this topic. Z-Man has made the same point that Rudy made, actually, which makes me think that Z-Man on Twitch is a Rudy burner, saying that Patrick Reed would definitely cheat.
Yeah, he would.
Tucker D. Franklin is in the Twitch chat. He'll be on with us here in a couple of minutes to do some power rankings about the Super Bowl. And Darth Maul Dad says, I'll fight anyone. I honestly missed the last segment, so I have no idea what's happening, and I'm yelling. It's all in all caps the whole way through, and I really appreciate that energy. I need more people like that in my life. Rory McIlroy is 5'9".
He's Irish, though. I don't know if he's scrappy.
I feel like I'm going to have a hard time. I understand. Do you know who Abraham Answer is?
I do not.
He's a golfer. He's 6'3". I don't know. Sorry, 5'7". Bubba Watson is 6'3". I reversed that.
I was going to say, Bubba Wallace, I would not.
Watson, not Wallace. Watson.
Bubba Watson. I mean, both of them probably. Bubba Wallace is an amazing athlete. I'm not taking him either. But Bubba Watson, no chance. He's a lefty. Not a chance.
How tall do you think Bubba Wallace is?
Probably like 5'8".
5'6".
Ooh. That seems about right, though. I feel like most NASCAR drivers are shorter.
They're small. They're like jockeys.
Except for Tony Stewart.
They're like he's shorter than you think.
I mean, he's a little big around.
I gotta say this on air, so it's been documented somewhere. During the break, Rudy was trying to remember the name of Tony Stewart, and he said it's NASCAR's Ben Roethlisberger, and I went Tony Stewart because I was waiting for someone to bring up Tony Stewart, and that is a perfect description. We'll do power rankings with the Ben Roethlisberger of this show, Tucker D. Franklin, next.
You are listening to Almost Entirely Sports with Joshua Brisco on Sports Radio 810 WHB. When you want Chiefs, follow the leader. Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Mahomes floats it. Wide open, Kelsey. Touchdown.
You don't get these opportunities every single year in the NFL to be in the Super Bowl. And so you don't want to look back and have regrets about how you played and how you went about the week of preparing to go out there and play your best football.
Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Sports Radio 810 WHB is your home for the best Chiefs coverage. Hi, everyone. This is Kevin Harlan. Listen all week to live Chiefs coverage with head coach Andy Reid, quarterback Patrick Mahomes, tight end Travis Kelce, and the rest of your favorite Chiefs players. Then, listen to 24 hours of pregame before listening to me and Hall of Fame quarterback Kurt Warner as the Kansas City Chiefs take on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Hi, I'm Fred Ramsey.
And I'm Mark Tobin. Hey, folks, if you're not busy Saturday mornings from 6 to 7 a.m., well, I hope you'll join us for the Midwest Outdoors, brought to you by Reed Chevrolet St. Joe.
Join us and our expert guests, and we'll be talking about hunting and fishing, dog training. We'll give you tips, pass along stories, and most important, share some laughs along the way.
That's right. We cover it all, from crappie to waterfowl, and we'll tell you how to cook it, too.
The Midwest Outdoors, brought to you by Reed Chevrolet, Saturday morning, 6 a.m. to 7 a.m., right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
A KC tradition since 1957, Hereford House is a locally owned steakhouse that has served generations of Kansas Cityans. Hereford House exclusively serves certified Hereford beef, which has been proven to be naturally more tender and flavorful than other brands. All their steaks are aged 21 days, hand-cut daily, and grilled over an open charcoal flame. This process provides a wonderful aroma and delicious flavor that cannot be duplicated by any other cooking method. Hereford House, Leawood, Independence, Shawnee, and Zona Rosa.
The Chiefs are going back to the Super Bowl.
As Super Bowl 55 draws near, we're bringing you the best of Sports Radio 810 Super Bowl edition Saturday starting at 9 o'clock. You'll hear from Hall of Famers, Super Bowl MVPs, NFL analysts, and the latest from future Hall of Famers, Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. It's all coming up Saturday beginning at 9 a.m., a Super Bowl edition of the Best of Radio Row on your home for Super Bowl 55, Sports Radio 810 WHB.
The Chiefs are going back to the Super Bowl.
Super Bowl 55 is coming to America's largest all-sports radio station. Sports Radio 810 WHB.
The road to repeat for Kansas City will run through Tampa.
As the Chiefs get set to run it back. Follow all the action right here on your home for the NFL playoffs and the Super Bowl. Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Hey, it's Kevin Keatsman for Roberts Robinson, Chevrolet Buick GMC in Excelsior Springs. Online at robertsrobinson.com. I got to be honest with you. One of the great things about representing Roberts Robinson, Chevrolet Buick GMC is the perks. You know, Mike's a good dude. I mean, these are really good people that treat everyone well. They've been exceptional to me. And he called me up and he said, hey, we do this shop, click, and drive, and we deliver cars right to people if that's what they want to do. Or we'll service their own cars by driving into their house and picking them up. He says, how about if I take a Sierra Denali and drop it in your driveway and you drive it for a few days? I said, hey, you don't have to do that for me. And he said, I want to do it. I said, great. The second I got in this bad boy, I took it right over to my buddy's house. The guy you can't mention on the radio, he's got a Sierra Denali that he's had for several years. And I just went over there and rubbed it right in his face. I said, look at this baby I got from Roberts Robinson. He looked at me all cross-eyed. I loved it. It's a great perk of this deal. But you know what? You can get the same great perks because they treat everyone great at Roberts Robinson, Chevrolet Buick GMC in Excelsior Springs. Online at robertsrobinson.com.
Super Bowl 55, Sunday at 5 p.m. on Sports Radio 810 WHB, Kansas City. This is Almost Entirely Sports with Joshua Brisco.
Number 4.
Number 4?
Pigeons.
I mean, in the 1800s, the pigeons were a top 5 bird, for sure. So you got messages around.
What? Why? I just think they're funny.
All right, number 3.
The crows in the Game of Thrones, the carrier crows.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
Number 2.
The great tit.
Beard, stop it.
On Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Nearly done getting ready for the Super Bowl here on Almost Entirely Sports. 1 hour left. This is extremely clunky, but there's a very serious topic that we used to start off the show. We didn't use it. We started off the show with it today because we needed to talk about it. And if you're wondering, hey, are you guys going to talk about the very serious, very awful on every level story around the Kansas City Chiefs today? Yes, we did. And it's already podcasted. And so if you want to check that out, you can. We talked about that and some surrounding stuff for about 35 or 40 minutes. It's all up on the podcast feed. I said 35 or 40 minutes, and Beards raised his eyebrows and nodded as if to say that segment went on about 10 to 15 minutes longer than Beards McFly wanted it to.
Maybe 5.
That's fine. I don't even disagree with you.
35 minutes and 30 seconds.
It's up on the podcast feed if you want to get that. And if you want just a little pick-me-up, if you're ready for your dessert, you've been good. We made it through 2 weeks of Super Bowl prep talk. We had our vegetables early on. We got the protein, talking to Matt Verderam. Let's eat some fats and sugars with Tucker Franklin now here, Almost Entirely Sports. Follow him on Twitter, at Tucker D. Franklin. He is the Emperor of Power Rankings, the Little Chiefs boy, and deputy editor of Arrowhead Report on SI.com. Also the host of the new Roughing the Kicker Chiefs podcast, available wherever you get your podcasts. Hi, Tucker. Are you ready for the Super Bowl?
I think so. I think I'm ready for the Super Bowl. It was nice to hear Matt talk. I think Matt is a very knowledgeable guy. I always get really excited about the Chiefs when Matt talks. He's always really good about getting me hyped up about how good the Kansas City Chiefs are because, as we've mentioned, we've talked about every single angle for this whole week, and sometimes I talk myself into the Chiefs aren't going to win this game, and then other times I think the Chiefs are going to win by 45 points. So it was nice to kind of get into the mindset of the Chiefs are going to win by 45 points.
It feels good, and I think that I don't think I could have picked something out of 30 minutes with Matt that I disagreed with, and I don't know. You're right. Maybe it's just talking ourselves in circles for long enough, but as of right now, there's nothing that I'm outrageously worried about. If Patrick Mahomes' kneecap ends up on the side of his leg or he gets concussed again or whatever, yes, that will worry me. But in terms of stuff that is within the margin for error, I feel pretty good still. Is there anything close to making you worried, or are you just in full-on bleep it YOLO mode?
Yeah, I think I'm kind of on the latter, the bleep it YOLO mode, because we like to talk about the offensive line and this defensive line, but as I've talked about with other people on the Roughing the Kicker podcast, this is the 2015 All-Stars on the Bucs defensive line. There's a bunch of names out here. I know Soren Petros talked about it on this show too, and I think that they are good, obviously. But Ndamukong Suh isn't going to rush the passer. Vita Vea is not a pass rusher. So I think a lot of this is drawn off. And I rewatched that Buccaneers game, and for the most part, probably about 3 and a half quarters, Mike Remmers did fine against JPP.
Yep.
And I'm not really worried about it. So I think that that's kind of being overblown, but rightfully so, right? I mean, the Chiefs don't have any starters besides Austin Ryder at their original position, which is insane to think about.
Got good energy tonight, Tucker. Feels like you're ready for this damn game to get here. I mean, we got a hype little Chiefs boy, Tucker D. Franklin. Did you finally start doing cocaine like I told you to do? I told you it really unlocks the late night radio magic.
Yeah, it's just G Fuel is all that it is.
Yeah. That's what it is.
G Fuel. I just rub it in my gums.
I thought you were going to say eyes, which would probably work, and then also maybe backfire.
We're on Twitch now. Like, there's got to be like a G Fuel apply to be an ambassador program if you're on Twitch.
Here's what we do. Since we're theoretically a sports show, maybe our G Fuel bottle is like a shaker bottle, but it's like the Gatorade squirt bottles.
Yeah.
We get into that space. I feel like. I'm not saying that almost entirely sports deserves a G Fuel flavor at this point.
We deserve a shaker, though.
But I think maybe a shaker. A shaker bottle in our colors and a squirt bottle. Maybe a discount code. I feel like that's been earned at this point. If you want to hear more from Tucker about this game, I cannot suggest strongly enough you check out Roughing the Kicker. In fact, who's been on this week, Tucker?
Oh, man. So we started off the week with Greg Bishop from Sports Illustrated. He just recently had several stories. I believe he was actually on this year's program.
He certainly was.
Yeah, we talked about several of his stories. We started off the week with him. Then we had Harold Kuntz from Fox 4, a very frequent guest on this program as well. He was on Tuesday. We had B.J. Kissel on Wednesday. Great guy. Just great conversation. He's got so many good stories about being with the Kansas City Chiefs. It's a really good conversation. Connor Orr was on Thursday. And then I had Therese Paylor today and tomorrow, a little sneak peek behind the curtain.
Whoa.
Zach Goodall, who's on this AES show that we are on currently right now. He was on yesterday. He's on tomorrow's special Saturday bonus episode. So lots of jam-packed episodes full of great content. Sometimes I felt like I was repeating myself over and over, but it's good for different guests because they all have different perspectives on almost similar questions. So that's what I really liked about it, is you got to get a bunch of different perspectives on it.
100%. Good sales job. You want to do some power rankings?
Let's do it.
Here's what we do. Whenever Tucker Franklin is here, we power rank things. We've got three categories that are all three categories.
Yes.
And there's like a bonus, not really a ranking. But there's three categories, plus a little bonus thing that Tucker doesn't even know about, I don't think. Maybe he was listening earlier. We got a top 5 in each thing. We'll go around the room. Today, they're all Super Bowl related. So we are # sticking to sports, even in our power rankings today.
That's what you think.
But first, beer to the music. Here's our little appetizer one. Someone on one of our streams earlier, was it Devin, Rudy, who asked the question?
Devin did.
He asked, among AES, who would be the best Uber driver, best to worst? And I like this question a lot, and I have a couple. I did not write this down. I'm not necessarily telling you I have the answers, but I have a formula kind of in mind. Is this music a little too loud for anybody else?
I think it's a little too loud.
I'll tell you what, though, it's edited, so it's way longer now. 30 minutes long now. I did work.
It's way longer now, now it'll last 30 minutes.
You heard me.
You used our ads.
It took him 4 hours here, but you know, he did something at least.
I will say, if you do try to have anything open in that computer for more than 4 hours, it will crash, and you should call your doctor. Here's my logic on this. My first thought is Rudy would be a great Uber driver, Beards would be an okay one, and I would be a bad one. But I've also thought about this a little more. I just don't like driving that much. It's fine. I don't think I'd be very good at it. Beards, it really depends on what you're looking for in your Uber ride. Because for Beards, you could just say, you throw your backpack in, and he's got an AirPod in or whatever, clearly. You can pop yours in. You're going to be at destination in 20 minutes. You're not going to learn this dude's real name. And sometimes that's valuable. You get in Rudy's car. Rudy's chatting you up. Rudy's finding out where you're from. What's your deal? What's your vibe? Where you going? Why are you going there? That also can be good, but it's neither one of those are always what you want. That's my take.
So I would definitely ask some of the questions out of like a sense that I would almost feel obligated to, because I like driving, but you know what I don't like? I don't like talking to strangers. So like
I think you're friends by the time you get to the destination, though.
See, I put on this front where I seem like a people person, but deep down inside I hate everybody. It's a thing. But I would definitely ask, like, I would do some of the generic questions because I would feel obligated to. And that's in part because they always ask me those questions.
But man,
but I don't think I'd be. Here's the thing. I don't think I would not be bad.
Yeah.
I feel like in the grand scheme of Uber drivers, I'd be like an average Uber driver.
Yeah.
But I think I'd probably be the best one here.
I think that's fair. Beers, do you have any complaints about any of that analysis?
I actually did power rank them very quickly.
Go ahead.
I had you at 4th. You have too many car issues. That's a real problem.
If it also includes our current
okay, yeah.
no chance.
Number 3.
I viewed this as we all have like the average car, just like a generic, like I guess like my car. Just a very generic car.
Number 3, I had myself. I have a pickup that has basically half a back seat. Also, I don't know how much they want to listen to Low Post podcasts on repeat. Number 2,
that's my other problem. I don't want to listen to music. I want to listen to my podcast.
Yeah.
Number 2, I've got Tucker. I don't have a real reason to have Tucker there.
Yeah.
Number 1, I've got Rudy. Good news about Rudy. He fixed his car to where the passenger doesn't have to hold the door shut.
Yeah, that's a great point.
And my windshield wipers work now.
Yeah,
so
even better.
We can drive in the rain.
Aspen58 on Twitch says, I listen to podcasts at 1.2 times speed, but sometimes Josh talks too fast for even that. This will not surprise you. I've gotten back into the habit of listening to podcasts at typically 1.5 times speed. It's sort of my favorite, like, if I'm just hauling through stuff. But then whenever you slow it back down again, it feels like the world has come to a screeching halt. It's ridiculous. And if I really get into it, there's no chance you're going to know what I'm saying if you're going at 1.5 times speed. There's no chance at all. Even if I'm stumbling over myself or if I'm talking very clearly, it doesn't matter. There's no chance.
Ice Pyro also points out the audio books that people have to listen to in Beards' car.
That's a good point.
I don't have an audiobook currently. Nothing yet.
Let's actually rank the things. We got 3 categories. We've got cherry-picked, our favorite top 5 cherry-picked stats. I think this music's still a little loud. I feel like I'm shouting.
Yeah, a little bit.
Top 5 players who could make a
do
sneaky
that anyway.
That's also fair.
Impact on Super Bowl 55. And then the top 5 things we're tired of talking about. Let's start very sportsy, very serious. Let's go the top 5 players who can make a sneaky impact in Super Bowl 55. I'm going to go first. We're going to go in a circle.
Cool.
Number 5 for me.
Where's Tucker at?
Right here.
Gotcha.
Stefan Wisniewski. He's getting his start there back in the Super Bowl. I think, as Seth said, maybe he's even an upgrade at right guard. Number 5, Stefan Wisniewski. Beard's number 5.
Number 5, I have Clyde Edwards-Helaire. If he runs the ball well, then they'll keep Tom Brady off the
field. Rudy, number 5.
I put Rashawn Fenton. Being the fourth corner, he doesn't play a lot, but when he does play, he's played really well. So if something happens to one of the starters, they've all been hurt at some point, he could step in and play very well.
Does music feel a little loud, anybody?
Just a little bit. Just a little bit.
Tucker, number 5. It's a little loud, Beard. Just
a little bit.
I've got McCole Hardman.
I like it.
I want to see him do a little end-around little sweeps that he does. Those are always very fun to watch. And I think he does a good job at those. We're still getting those manufactured McCole Hardman touches, but you got to have your manufactured McCole Hardman touches in a Chiefs game. It's a tradition.
Just like 10%, Beard. Just like 10% down. Just like
I just turned it down
Just like
again.
a little.
But then the podcast can't hear it.
They'll be able to hear it?
Yeah, it's
not as well.
It's very loud.
Well, they don't have to hear it. It's not a listening comprehension
There, turn
test.
it
It's
down
background
They
music.
want to hear us.
Theoretically.
Do they?
Theoretically, yes.
They want to hear Tucker at least.
Do they?
Yeah, they want to hear Tucker.
Number 4, Darrell Williams. Here's why. Because running backs are the most important. No, I'm not going to give you a line of Beards. They trust him the most in pass protection. That's why he's the third down back, especially if things get a little touch and go with the offensive line at any point. He's going to get more snaps than you'd expect. Beard's number 4.
We're in agreement. Number 4, Darrell Williams.
I wonder
If
how
he
your list
runs
is gonna
the ball
go.
Well, Tom Brady will stay off the field.
I think I know what your number 1 one is, but I don't want to spoil it. Rudy, number 4.
Number 4, Darrell Williams.
Let's
for everything you
go!
said, Josh, but then to add on to it, when they do run the ball, he's shown to be effective. When they need a yard, he gets 2. And, they don't need to run a lot, but when they do run, he seems to be effective getting what they need.
Tucker, number 4.
It's got to be Darrell Williams. I think his impact in the passing game can be a very sneaky impact. Is him in the passing?
All 4 of us had him at 4.
Yes.
Specifically 4.
Yes.
Barrel. Woo. Number 3 for me is L'Jarius Sneed. The only reason that I second guess it is I'm not sure it's sneaky anymore.
That's not sneaky, man.
He is third among corners in the amount of snaps that he's going to get in all likelihood. I think that was the case against the Bills. It's barely sneaky, but I felt like going sneakier was...
Yeah, so here's the thing. He's definitely, if we're going like dark horse MVP candidate, he's a good one because like the quarterback always wins it, right? But he's not a sneaky impact
Totally
player.
fair, absolutely fair. Beard's number 3.
But
Number
I'd like the pick
3, Darwin Thompson.
Oh, wow.
If he runs runs the ball
okay.
well, they'll keep Tom Brady off the field.
Good point.
Beard, Rudy, number 3.
I went with Demarcus Robinson, not so much because of him, but because so much focus sometimes is put everywhere else that he just ends up kind of wide open, or maybe it's a one-on-one and Patrick Mahomes makes a great throw. So like him ending up with a touchdown catch in the game wouldn't be shocking.
Tucker, number
real fast, or a big block down the field that frees somebody else.
Also like that. Tucker, number 3.
I had Rashad Fenton at number 3. Rudy made
like
a really good point about Rashad Fenton, and he kind of took it from me. I thought nobody was going to have Rashad Fenton, so I was a little hurt when I heard it, but it's fine. Rashad Fenton at number 3.
There's only so many players on this roster.
It's true.
Number 2.
And a lot of them are really good, and it's not much of a sneaky impact because there's a lot of really good players on this team.
That's such a good point. Number 2 for me, Mike Remmers. Listen, he's a
Good.
starting left
Yeah.
tackle. Is that sneaky? I don't know, but he's going to have a pretty big impact on the game, I bet.
He was a swing tackle, and now he's your starting left tackle, so yeah.
He was also, by the way, the first guard up replacing Kelechi
true,
Osemele.
true.
He started the Buffalo game at guard, and then Schwartz left the game, and he's been at tackle since. Beards, number 2.
Number 2, Le'Veon Bell. If he runs the ball well, they'll keep Tom Brady off the field.
I think I'm going to be right about here. Number 1 one is Rudy, number 2.
So I actually went with Derek Nottie, not so much because
kinda like that.
like stopping the run is necessarily important, but again, there are moments when stopping the run is important, and he seems right now is playing very well in those moments.
Tucker, number 2.
I've got Juan Thornhill. He's really been rounding into some very good form as of late. I rewatched that Tampa Bay game, and in these playoff games, he's tackled very well.
It's not
which is
sneaky,
something
Tucker.
that
It's not sneaky. We've been talking about Juan
Come
Thornhill.
on.
We've been talking
I know,
about Juan Thornhill all week, Tucker.
Yeah.
He led the show yesterday, Tucker.
I'm gonna give Tucker.
Hold on one second, guys. Hold on one second. Number 1 for me is Juan Thornhill. Go ahead, Tucker.
I don't have anything to say.
I agree. I don't think it is actually sneaky, but he's going to have a big impact on this game.
I'm going to side with you, though. It's sneaky in the sense that even though he had a big game last game, again, we had been wondering what his role was and all that. So
Nationally, it's very sneaky.
It's less sneaky now because of the big game against the Bills, but I think it's still sneaky because of the overall season.
My logic for the number 1 is that I think he could be like a top 5 impact player in this game, and he's probably expected even by most Chiefs fans to be like 10th.
I think it's fair.
I'm going to skip Beards. Rudy, what's your number 1 most impactful player?
So this kind of goes back to what
Sneakily.
Matt Verderame was saying. I think the Chiefs are going to win this game pretty big, and I think we're going to see a Chad Henne touchdown pass. So he's my number 1 impact player in this game, baby. Just one final touchdown pass. Because here's the thing. The backup quarterback comes in and throws a touchdown pass. That's the play we remember. Just give him an MVP right then and there.
Tucker, number 1 sneaky player, can have an impact on the game.
Tershawn Horton.
Like
you know
it.
why?
Like
Tom
it.
Brady hates interior pressure, and he hates lengthy interior pressure like Chris Jones. Tershawn Horton is very similar to Chris Jones in that sense. So I think those two guys will have a field day.
That's a very astute observation.
I like
by
that one a
Tucker.
lot, Tucker.
Very astute.
Beards, who's your number 1 player who could have a sneaky impact on Super Bowl 55?
Number 1, Leonard Fournette.
Whoa!
If he runs the ball
Hold
well, they'll keep Mahomes off the field.
This is a bad. No, hold up. Where's playoff Lenny? I'm not worried about Leonard Fournette at all, but playoff Lenny.
I was
That's the
ready
guy.
to bet my left nut that your number 1 was going to be Anthony Sherman.
Oh,
no. That
In
would've
in my
been
original rough draft, it was Patrick Mahomes.
I also
Tom
thought
Brady
about
was
putting
second.
Patrick Mahomes at 1.
Should've
No,
been playoff Lenny.
that's pretty good.
But no, then I realized the error of my ways, and I made the correct
The
list.
fact that you guys keep disrespecting playoff Lenny is just insulting to me.
How do you feel, Beards?
Playoff Damian is somewhere crying right now at the disrespect.
Beards,
Yes.
how do you feel about taking an early break and then having 2 power rankings whenever we come back, just so we're not drowning at the end of the show?
That is okay with me.
Tucker, you don't have anything to do, right?
Yeah, I'm good.
Tucker Franklin is brought to you by Central Bank of the Midwest, CBD American Shaman, tickets for less, and Premier Mazda of Kansas City. He's not on Radio Row, but he is our guest right now, and so all of those things are technically true. Tucker, your check's in the mail, and by your check, I mean don't go anywhere. Sit on the line during another commercial break. And whenever we come back, more power rankings with Tucker Franklin, Little Chiefs boy, host of the Ref and the Kicker Chiefs podcast, and contributor, editor, deputy editor, Graham Poobah over at Arrowhead Report on SI.com. Follow him on Twitter at Tucker D. Franklin. Don't go anywhere. More power rankings next.
Did you know you can listen to Almost Entirely Sports anywhere, anytime? Well, you can. Just search for Almost Entirely Sports wherever you get your podcasts.
When the unexpected comes calling, bounce forward with Comcast Business. Bounce forward fast with internet speeds up to a gig. And bounce forward with the flexibility to update your bandwidth in just a few clicks. Get started with a reliable internet and voice solution from Comcast Business, starting at $64.90 a month for 12 months with a 2-year agreement. Call or go online today. Restrictions apply. New customers only with 35 megabits per second service and 1 voice line. Early termination fee applies. Equipment installation taxes and fees extra and subject to change. Call for details.
Watch your favorite TV channels now with help from Menards. Receive local HD digital broadcast channels for free with the help of RCA antennas. Watch the big game or catch up on the latest shows without the need for a cable subscription or an internet connection. An RCA amplified indoor TV antenna is perfect for better reception. Pick it up now for $14.99 at Menards. Sale prices are good through Saturday, February 13th.
Save big money at Menards.
Coverage of the big game is presented by Victory Chevrolet, Anthony Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electric, CBD American Shaman, and Community America Credit Union.
The Chiefs are going back to the Super Bowl.
Super Bowl 55 is coming to America's largest all-sports radio station, Sports Radio 810, WHB.
The road to repeat for Kansas City will run through Tampa.
As the Chiefs get set to run it back. Follow all the action right here on your home for the NFL playoffs and the Super Bowl. Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Hey, Sorrent Petro here. Guys, if you've noticed a lack of energy, motivation, and drive, it could be low T or something else like sleep apnea or even low thyroid. Schedule a complete health assessment right now at Low T Center. They offer monitored, self-injected home testosterone treatment for $135 a month, self-pay. So if you've been feeling tired, grumpy, have been gaining weight, have a loss of muscle, don't wait. Go to the lowtcenter.com right now to book your appointment. That's lowtcenter.com. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
The Chiefs are going back to the Super Bowl.
Can't wait for the Super Bowl? Neither can we. That's why Sports Radio 810 is bringing you wall-to-wall Chiefs beginning Saturday at 5. It's 24 hours of Chiefs pregame before Westwood One's presentation of Super Bowl 55.
The Kansas City Chiefs are back in business.
Keep it on Sports Radio 810 for 24 hours of Chiefs pregame coverage beginning Saturday at 5, then the Central Bank of the Midwest pregame show at 1 on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Won't you come along with me? Come out to jazz with me.
Laissez le bon temps rouler. Let the good times roll. That's what we do at Jazz. Papa Vic here to tell you about what's happening at your favorite restaurant, Jazz, a Louisiana kitchen. Economy got you down? You don't need a fat wall at Jazz. Come enjoy our succulent, home cooking, Cajun cuisine anytime. Come in and let Jazz cook for you. We've partnered with Proactive Protect to provide nanotechnology protection that sanitizes all our tables, chairs, and the interior of the restaurant. So come on in. Not comfortable coming in? Check out our website, jazzkitchens.com, and place your order online or through MenuFi. Check out our dedicated curbside parking spots, and we'll bring the taste of New Orleans to your car. 3 locations, the original at 39th and State Line, and at Legends of Village West, our newest location in Independence at I-70 and 291, just east of the Cable Dahmer Arena. Jazz. All that and a bowl of gumbo, too.
Say, Bob, you sure dig jazz.
Jazz.
Yeah.
Where there's always a party every night.
Gomer's, with 6 great locations in the metro, Northland, Midtown, State Line South, Gomer's, Kansas, and at 103rd and State Line in the Watts Mill Shopping Center. Nobody knows more about fine wine, spirits, and craft beer than Gomer's. Whether you're looking for that special gift or picking up your favorites for a relaxing evening, you'll find it at Gomer's. Place your orders online for curbside pickup. Plus, Gomer's delivers in Missouri. Gomer's, your hometown liquor store.
When it's time to find the good stuff you're looking for, you find it at Gomer's.
This is Almost Entirely Sports with Joshua Brisco.
Tucker, what's your number 1 type of ice?
Vanilla.
On Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Tucker D. Franklin still on the line on Twitter at Tucker D. Franklin. You can listen to Roughing the Kicker Chiefs podcast with Tucker. Doing power rankings, as his music indicates. Tucker, Rudy, Beards, me. 2 more categories to go here tonight. Also saw a comment from Human Torch on Twitch saying that that he stopped playing. I shouldn't assume it's a he, but I did and will. I stopped playing Yakuza 7 in hopes.
Human.
What?
They are a human.
Are they, or are they a torch?
But they're a human torch, so I think you are human by definition. You're
Yeah, you're not a torch human, you're a human torch.
Your purpose in life is to light the way for others.
They said, I stopped playing Yakuza 7 in hopes that Mick would be on tonight. Tucker being on is a nice consolation prize. And then Tucker said, that's the nicest thing anyone's ever has said to me this year. Tucker, I told you had good energy in the first segment. Is that close?
Yeah, it's true. That comes in at number 2.
Yeah.
But, I mean, being a consolation prize to Mick Schaefer, I mean, that's out there.
Is this music a little loud? Anybody else?
It's a little loud.
Next up, Beards, could we just a little? Thank you.
Like 5%.
I think this is good.
This is good.
This is great.
Don't touch
I love it here.
Don't touch it.
It's perfect. It's like 65
Excellent.
degrees
Good.
right now.
Sure, did it take 30 minutes to
Because I'm
get
not
here?
touching it again.
Yeah, but we got here.
Things we're tired of talking about. We're going to go in reverse order this time, I guess. I don't really know. No,
I think I know one of Beards' things that he's tired of us talking about.
I wonder if that's going to be on the
Beards,
list.
is it a little quiet? No, don't touch it. Don't touch it.
Things we're tired of talking about. Let's go Beards, number 5.
Number 5, telling Josh and Rudy when to go to break. They should know by now when I want them to go to break.
You need to run
Beards.
one of the real shows.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
I have.
Beards, we started at the 8 o'clock hour today at like 8:15.
My number 5 thing I'm tired of talking about already. I'm honestly not really tired of Tom Brady yet, and I honestly just wanted to have a time that I could admit that on the radio, and I'm doing it now, number 5.
I like that.
I'm honestly not tired of it. I feel like that story is still pretty good.
Yeah.
Tucker, number 5.
I think I'm going to go with Carlton Davis on this one. He did get toasted, but I'm just kind of tired of talking about him getting toasted again.
Is Tucker a little quiet to
I think
anybody?
you pod Tucker up just a little bit.
Rudy, number 5.
So a lot of mine aren't necessarily things we've necessarily talked about here, but I've been part of a lot of interviews this week and whatnot, just listening in.
Yeah.
I've heard a lot of people complain about Deshaun Watson being a crybaby kind of for this whole thing, and that's annoying because Deshaun Watson, again, the issue is that they told him he was going to be involved, and he wasn't. If they didn't want to be involved, that's fine. Just don't tell him you're going to be involved. So
Yeah, I think that's fine.
That bothers me. It annoys me. I'm tired of it.
I've already gotten the wrong. I just want. Hold on, Beards. You got to. We don't have a visual joke yet tonight. We don't have a visual joke in an audio medium yet, and I think this is the time to do it. Pan up, Beards.
Just a little
Slowly pan up for the video stream.
Is the camera a little low, Josh?
This is pretty good. Where did I leave off?
Number 4. Number 4.
I know, but
We have
Beard
not said
started.
Number 4. Yeah, Beard started. Yes.
Number 4. The last 2 seasons of Game of Thrones were fine. They weren't abhorrent disasters like everybody thought they were.
Well, number 4
They
for
were
me.
fine.
I'm tired of Beards being wrong about. Just kidding. kidding.
Number 4 for me, and things I'm tired of talking about. Antonio Brown. Bleep that guy, huh?
Yeah.
Bleep that guy.
I like that.
I'm over it. Who's next?
Me.
Rudy, number 4.
Number 4. I'm tired of people talking about the only reason why Eric Bieniemy was passed over is because he's not the main playing caller, and it's not. It has nothing to do with the fact that he's a black man.
Yeah, that's a good one.
We know why he got passed over.
Yeah.
Dan Campbell got a job. He doesn't call plays.
Man Campbell, excuse me.
Man cannibal. Tucker, number 4 thing you're tired of talking about.
I think Mahomes' legacy at this point I'm tired of talking about because
Why do you hate
we've
Mahomes?
got at least 15 more years to talk about it. So, I mean, I don't know. I'm just over it right now.
Tucker hates the Chiefs.
It's been a long week.
New report on Arrowhead Report. Little Chief Boy hates Chiefs.
More like Arrow Dread Report when Tucker's writing because he's dreading talking about Patrick Mahomes.
Ugh.
Get a new job, Tucker.
That's not what I said.
Beards, number 3 thing you're tired of talking about.
Number 3, Nikola Jokic MVP candidate?
Oh,
What?
Such a good one. Such dookie nonsense. Such a good
Terrible. He's not even averaging a triple-double anymore, Rudy.
one. Number
As
3.
if that's all that matters. Westbrook fans.
Number 3 thing I'm tired
When
of
he's
talking
the center and he's leading the NBA in assists.
Listen, if
that
they
is
have counted
something.
blocks, Bill
That
Russell and
is
Wilt Chamberlain would have
something.
done it decades ago.
But,
Get a new argument.
that's fine. That we're talking about assists. Big men do not typically lead the NBA in assists.
Wilt Chamberlain did that.
Yes, but not typically. We're talking about the greatest center of all time, baby.
He's like 4th.
400 years ago, too, Beards. I mean, it's been a minute. I don't want to listen, Beards. You know this. I do not want to take Rudy's side here in any way whatsoever. But
should he win the MVP right now? No, but he should be a candidate. Give the man some love.
Number 3, I'm tired of talking about how Tampa Bay is going to cover Travis Kelce because no one's going to cover Travis Kelce. Stop talking about it. Rudy, number 3.
Number 3, I'm kind of tired of talking about how the Chiefs' offensive line is going to be the reason why they lose this game. I mean, Andy Reid's had 2 weeks to prepare for this. Like, they can just throw the ball quickly to Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce, and they'll just, like, be great.
This guy gets it. Number 2, Tucker. Or 3?
I
Which
was
one?
going to say Mike Rimmers. I don't know what number we're on. I think it's 3.
Okay, very good.
Yeah, Tucker's on 3.
Yeah. Mike Rimmers is what I was going to say because he did play against the Buccaneers, and JPP acting like he doesn't know who he is ridiculous.
They played each other.
I know. They literally went up against each other. 95% of the snaps on offense, they were against each other. So I just am tired about all that nonsense that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are talking.
To be fair, Tucker, JPP does have a hard time remembering things. He obviously forgot to let go of that firework.
I can't believe we're still doing JPP firecracker jokes.
I can't believe he's still in the league.
I mean, good for him, right? Like,
sure.
Man,
I just thought he
he's
was
still a good
retired by
football
now.
player. Still a good football player.
I thought he was old.
I mean, he is.
Beards, you thought that at this point he would have fizzled out? If he wins the Super Bowl, maybe he retires, goes out with a bang.
Wait, what finger does that ring go on?
Number 2 for me, I'm skipping it ahead of Beards because mine's also the Chiefs' offensive line. I don't. It's not like a bad topic. I've just talked about it for 2 weeks. I think it's going to be fine. Beards, number 2.
Number 2, I'm tired of everybody thinking that running the ball doesn't equate to winning. How many Super Bowl winners had 0 rushing yards?
Wow.
How many?
Checkmate, atheists. Eat that one for breakfast.
This is a perfect transition because number 2 for me is I'm tired of listening to Tampa Bay analysts talk about how the key to the game is Leonard Fournette running the football.
Playoff Lenny. Tucker, number 2.
A time of possession that goes into that, and I think we've talked about time of possession enough, so I'm not even going to explain it.
At this point, if you're still like a time of possession believer listening to like this show, you're just stronger in your faith in that than Jesus himself.
Twitch comment, chili cheese. JPP is so explosive as a pass rusher.
Somebody on Facebook, I can't tell who I'm sorry, says, hilarious JPP jokes. Love them all, probably because I'm a dad.
That would be Casey. Yeah.
Thank you, Casey.
Also, we have a new Twitch user, Father Rust. I like the name.
Wow.
Yeah, so shouts to Father Rust.
You think he's also a dad? You think he's also enjoying our jokes?
I think he's a priest who spreads the gospel of Rust.
Wow. Like the game or like the metal that gets kind of dirty? The dirty metal.
I think it's both. A little bit of both.
Number 1, Beards. Number 1 thing you're tired of talking about this week.
Number 1 thing, that fried chicken's
Well,
good. I'm just kidding.
We'll come back. Let's come back around,
That's
Beards.
fine.
We'll come back to Beards. Number 1 for me, not Patrick Mahomes. I'm not tired of talking about Patrick Mahomes. Rudy, number 1.
The amount of people I've heard this week say that the Bucs clearly figured out the Chiefs' offense in the second quarter, and now they have the game plan to shut down the Chiefs' offense. I've heard way too many national people say this, and it's just, what are we doing?
Yeah, that's a great one. That's actually a very good answer. Tucker, number
Chiefs
1.
are going to score 10 points tomorrow or Sunday. Well, yeah, sure.
Number 1, Tucker.
I want to say this with full disclosure that I really respect Tom Brady and what he does and what he has done, but I'm tired of talking about him. I'm just tired of talking about Tom Brady.
Beards, what's your number 1 thing you're tired of talking about?
Number
round 2.
1 thing, I'm tired of talking about how good fried chicken is. No, I'm not. It's a lie.
That wasn't so hard.
I know.
So gotta hop in that podcast.
Listen, I get tongue-tied sometimes.
Edit that podcast. It's gonna sound great. Also, I'd like to remind everyone that right now on NFL Network they're re-airing Chiefs Bucks, and this game is 27-10 in the fourth quarter. Just want everyone to remember that. Like right now it's in the third quarter, but it gets to 27-10 in the fourth quarter.
But remember, they figured out the Chiefs' game plan. They've solved it. It's done. Don't even play Sunday. We don't need to know. The Buccaneers are going to win 42-10.
Last category of the day in the power rankings are top 5 cherry-picked stats. Who liked this category the most?
I did.
I've got some good ones too.
All right, I'm gonna go first on this one then. And my first one is more like cherry-picked information. And my cherry-picked information for number 5 is that QBcompare.com is a website made by someone on Twitter named, their @ is Jordan W0213, and they made this website. That's number 5 for me. Let's go. Tucker, how do you feel about yours?
I feel okay about it.
Number 5.
I went with dropped interceptions. I think that's a little bit of a reach there, kind of cherry pick to see. Oh well, Patrick Mahomes almost throws interceptions, so he's almost loses game. That's kind of a cherry pick one that I don't really like.
I wonder how we're all going to have interpreted this because I think there's going to be some zags going on in here.
Oh, absolutely.
Beards, what's your number 5 cherry pick stat?
Number 5, Tom Brady is winless in Super Bowls without Bill Belichick as his head coach.
Great stat. That's a good stat.
Really good.
That's a good. Why is no one talking about that?
That's a good point.
Yeah, Tom Brady and Bruce Arians have never won a Super Bowl together. Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid have one. Great stat, Beards.
Yeah, I've got more where this comes from.
Rudy, number 5 favorite stat.
I basically just interpret this whole thing as a way to brag about Mahomes. Mahomes has has played in 3 AFC title games, and in those 3 AFC title games, has 3 touchdowns and 0 interceptions. And each game, nobody else in NFL history has more than one of those games in NFL history.
Wow, that's good. Number 4, for me, no relation to number 5, QBcompare.com. Really can't recommend that website enough. Drew Brees has 323% of Troy Aikman's touchdowns and 233% of his total yards.
That's good.
Tucker, number 4.
That a Penn State player has played in every Super Bowl except for 5 since 1967.
Good pull.
That is a good pull. Beards, number 4.
Number 4, Andy Reid has more Super Bowl rings as a head coach than Bruce Arians does as a head coach. Bruce Arians has 2 Super Bowl rings as an assistant.
Those count at most I would say 0.4 each. Yeah, at most. 0.45 maybe. Rudy, number 4.
In Mahomes' first 7 playoff starts, he has accounted for 21 touchdowns. Tom Brady accounted for 9.
Wow.
Yeah, pretty good.
Number 3 for me, Patrick Mahomes has 100% of the career rushing touchdowns of Troy Aikman in 30% of the games. Tucker, number 3.
I clearly took this category way differently than you guys did.
That's
fine.
okay
I think you took it the right way, honestly.
It works.
Yeah. So I went with you remember the stat when they were playing the Browns and they basically compared Baker Mayfield and saying that he was a better quarterback than Patrick Mahomes in the last 11 games of the season?
Oh, yeah.
That one sucked.
Yeah. Yeah, that did. Yeah, that sucked. I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah, you're right. That sucked.
Beards, number 3.
Number 3. This is a good one. Every team that has beaten the Packers in the NFC Championship game since 2014 has lost the Super Bowl.
Ooh.
Who did the Tampa Bay Buccaneers play?
Saints.
Damn. Hold on. Yeah, they beat the
I'm just bringing this up for no
Washington
reason. I just thought it was a cool stat.
team. Can I give a bonus one? I'm going to give a bonus one, but not yet because I actually don't have it up
Packers.
yet. It was.
Got there.
Rudy, number 3.
So far, Patrick Mahomes has won 6 playoff games. The Chiefs had won 4 playoff games in the previous 48 years.
I didn't really hear that one. You can read that one again.
So Patrick Mahomes has currently won 6 playoff games. In the 48 years prior to the Chiefs drafting Patrick Mahomes, they won 4 playoff games.
Woof.
I am going to give Curtis Seabolt's number 1 stat when we get to number 1. That's my new plan.
I like it.
In the meantime, here's my number. Is it my turn again?
Yes.
I've really lost the plot.
Yeah, go.
Number 2 for me, Patrick Mahomes.
Wait, hold up. Tucker, did you give number 3?
I don't know where I'm at.
Well, you did Baker. Which one? Which number was Baker?
That was 3.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
Number 2 for me, Patrick Mahomes has 70% of Troy Aikman's career touchdowns in 30% of the games. A little check-in on that one. Beards, number 2.
Number 2. Since Tampa Bay acquired Tom Brady, Tyreek Hill averages 269 yards of offense against them. Coincidence?
I think not. Rudy, number 2.
So over the last 2 years, when trailing by 10 or more points, NFL teams have ended up winning those games 12% of the time. Patrick Mahomes is 8-1. He has won those games 88% of the time.
Good God!
When trailing by more than 10 points in a game. 8-1.
Wow. DeAndre 8-1. Over Luka Doncic. In case you guys, that's my number 1 stat. Tucker, number 2.
Dumb.
I just had to look this one up real quick because I wasn't feeling strong on my list, so I looked this one up. and Patrick Mahomes has won 100% of the games where he scores more points than the other team.
Wow!
I don't know if that's true.
And hard to argue with that one. That was pretty telling.
What are your sources?
My number one, I'm going to give Curtis his number one here. He only had one. Also, he didn't know that it was being involved in power rankings, but he tweeted it out, and this stat absolutely slaps. This is the third consecutive year and 8th time overall that both teams in the Super Bowl have 3 words in their name.
That's awesome.
Kansas City Chiefs, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Kansas City Chiefs, San Francisco 49ers.
You said Tampa Brady Buccaneers weird. Though,
I'm
man.
sorry. Yeah, my bad. I have a speech impediment.
Yeah, it's fine. I'm not here to judge.
That stat is great, and then also you can go through and find them all. There's a lot of New England, obviously, but one of the very first one was the very first Super Bowl, Kansas City Chiefs, Green Bay Packers, and then it didn't happen for I think Curtis said like 30 years.
Yeah, something like that.
Good stat.
Long time.
My number one cherry pick stat here. In 6 fewer games, Alex Smith has 25 more touchdowns and 604 more passing yards than Troy Aikman.
Hall of Famer, Alex Smith.
You'll never let this go, will you?
I mean, it's Troy Aikman's fault. He's the one who started the fight. Troy Aikman was the one who wanted to have this fight.
He escalated it.
Josh just said a stat, and Troy Aikman threw his gloves down and said, "Let's go, bro."
That's exactly right. And then he never talked to me again after 30.
Yeah. He threw his rings down, Rudy. Get it right.
Yeah.
That's a fair point.
At this point, and now Jacob Harris, also of Arrowhead Report, has warned me that if I take this take from him, he's going to fight me, so I may have to fight Jacob.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, Alex Smith on the 90s Cowboys would have been juggernaut. I'll say it. Troy Aikman, more like Troy Alex. Somebody else go next.
Number one, I said this yesterday, and I feel like it doesn't give enough, I don't think people are amazed by this as much as I feel like they should be.
Okay.
Patrick Mahomes in his NFL career has never lost by double digits.
It's unbelievable.
And the last time that he lost a football game by double digits was 2016 against Iowa State.
Unbelievable.
Freaking wild.
Unbelievably good.
Also, I'm shutting the door now, Josh. I'm freezing.
It got a little chilly in here because I didn't have the door
AC
open.
kicked on.
No, I specifically did not turn the AC on. Tucker, what is your number one cherry pick stat? We'll close with Beards.
No, well, before we get to that, I want to say you've got to fight Aikman, right? I mean, you guys were talking about fighting,
Wow.
washed up celeb.
I think he's
Gotta
probably.
be Troy Aikman, right?
I think he's probably bigger than you
What
think.
was the stat?
It wasn't a stat. It was that if I have to fight a celebrity former athlete, it's got to be Aikman.
Oh, Troy, here's the thing,
He's
man.
6'4".
Troy Aikman would drop you. Have you seen his shoulders? Troy Aikman, if all 4 of us went at Troy Aikman at once, Troy Aikman would beat us down.
I bet you he's got big hands, too.
Yeah.
How he was able to get so many touchdowns and fit so many rings on his fingers.
Dude, Troy Aikman would take all of us. Yeah. He wouldn't even have to take off his suit, like his jacket. Like the sport coat stays on.
Listen, this is what I'm thinking. Josh will just have one of those blackout rage moments where you just don't know what's happening.
Yeah,
and he'll just overtake him. But Troy's not going to know what's happening. That's what I think is going to happen.
Troy would drop him in one punch.
I think what would actually happen is that Troy would have Michael Irvin and Emmitt Smith beat me up, but that's whatever.
Probably fair.
They could have him do it for him, and then take all the credit. 33%, my ass.
You want to hear Emmitt Smith's stat?
Sure.
That involves Patrick Mahomes.
Sure.
If
What?
Patrick Mahomes wins the Super Bowl, he'll have won 2 Super Bowls and MVP by 25, and the only other player to do it in NFL history was Emmitt Smith.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a good stat. Beards, what is your number one
Tucker
stat?
still hasn't given his
Oh,
yet.
Tucker, what's your number one cherry pick stat?
That's true. That the Chiefs almost lose games.
That's good. Tucker had the best one of these, I think.
Oh, just wait.
Beards, what is your number one cherry pick stat?
This is a bad
Chiefs
stat.
have won every Super
okay.
Bowl since last year.
That's a good stat.
That's a good
That's
stat,
a great
man.
stat.
That's a good stat.
I didn't think he was going to go in that direction. I thought he was going to go somewhere else. I thought it was going to be real bad. Just real
I had
bad.
good stats.
Just real
I had good stats.
stinky bad. But that was good.
The Chiefs have won every Super Bowl in history, starting with Super Bowl 4 and then ending with Super Bowl 4
that's too
and then
confusing.
starting last
That's
year.
too confusing. Just since last year, they've won every Super Bowl.
Super Bowl 4 doesn't matter. We weren't alive.
That's true.
Anything that happened prior to Patrick Mahomes being the MVP of the NFL league, it never happened.
Of the NFL league?
Of the NFL
The National Football League league?
Never happened. Never happened.
Twitch agrees with me. They think I had a great stat.
It was a really good stat.
Thank you.
It was a great stat.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm 100% behind it.
Did it not ruin anybody else's entire worldview that Alex Smith and Troy Aikman basically have the same career stat line? Because that would really bleep me up.
Ask Cowboys fans.
But here's the thing. It's like I told you at some point during the break before the show, whatever. Joe Flacco had more passing yards than Joe Montana.
Cool Joe.
Cool Joe.
So he is elite.
Yes, as I've been saying all along.
Is Alex Smith a Hall of Famer?
Yes.
Is Eli a Hall of Famer?
Absolutely.
No.
Yeah, but Eli, Beards, you may not like it, but Eli Manning is a first ballot Hall of Famer. It's just happening. Just accept it, get used to it. And next year, Arch Manning is going into the Hall of Fame probably. And I'm not talking about the grandpa. I'm talking about the 12-year-old kid playing high school football.
He's not 12.
Yeah, he's like 16 or 17.
He's not 12. He's in high school. He's not playing high school football at 12. That
And
doesn't make
honestly,
any sense.
Cooper probably goes in a couple years because that's his kid. And why not? They're the first family of football.
You want to know my number one cherry pick stat?
Yes.
Dan Campbell, eat your bleeping kneecaps off.
Yeah, he will.
Tucker, thank you for being here to do power rankings with us. One more time, cook up the little Roughing the Kicker lineup. Tell people what they can hear if they go subscribe to Roughing the Kicker wherever they get their podcasts.
Oh, man, you can hear the best daily Chiefs podcast run by a 22-year-old. You can hear Greg Bishop. You can hear Harold Coon, BJ Kissel, Connor Orr from Sports Illustrated, also Therese Taylor, and we'll have a preview of the game with Zach Goodall from All Bucs this Saturday, which is tomorrow. I guess it depends when you listen to it. You listen to the show right now, it's tomorrow. But podcast is time traveling, and it gets really confusing. I try to talk about it on the podcast, too, but it confuses me about time traveling and recording yourself. That's all very confusing to me. But we can figure that out when you go over to the Roughing the Kicker podcast.
How does he get better guests than us?
I really do think that you really getting into crack super heavily has been really good for your
Great for the show.
late night.
Real good for the show.
Tucker, who can we trade you for Trez Paylor? Is there a guest that you'd rather have that we can trade
I can get
out?
you Cool Joe's number.
We've got Jeff and Goody's number.
I don't know if it's Joe Flacco or Joe Montana. You'll have to figure that out on your own, buddy. Either way, it's a Hall of Famer.
You want to talk to Lorenzo Kane? I got his
number too.
Can I entice you with Duron Cherry, former Chief?
What about Charlie Weiss?
Oh, yeah, I forgot about him.
Oh, man. That's it, I think.
Do you want Mike DePasquale? He's a lawyer. Yes, I got you.
Hey, he played D1 football, then turned professional.
He did.
In the court of law.
What about Dell customer service? Because I got that too.
Hang on, let me open up my contacts here.
Hey, hold on. Can I talk to you guys about FedEx insurance for a second? It's so slow playing me.
Take the music down so I can hear Tucker better.
I still have not got anything back from them.
Oh,
and
no.
They're dragging their feet. Yeah, okay. Well, I take that back. We got an appraisal, right? It's going to be a hefty chunk of money to fix my car because, as you guys saw, they didn't just lightly bump into it. They beefed her up pretty good. So I take it in, I get an appraisal, and then we get an email this morning, and they say, here's a sign off on the dotted line for half of what your appraisal's worth. And we said, hang on, that's not how this is going to work. So we're still trying to fight back on that, and I'm coming for Liberty Mutual. This is an anti-Liberty Mutual show.
Beards, I would like it a lot if the next Tucker liner was what he just said there, but you just sort of exaggerated the pause before he said Liberty Mutual, because there's already an extended pause. Maybe that's where it says, like, with Joshua Brisco on, and then it's the rest of the line, and then with Liberty Mutual. Who you got in your phone, Beards? You got in your phone for Tucker?
I think I used my trump card with Charlie Weiss.
I'll get you Trump.
I don't think I have anything better than that.
I'll get you a Trump card. You want Don Jr.?
I got one for you, Tucker. I can get you a Mr. Joshua Brisco.
With an E.
With an E. Do you want the number to Union Broadcasting? Because I get you that.
You want to have my landlord on the podcast? Got his number. How about my grandpa? You talk to my grandpa on the podcast?
Yeah. I want Bradley Brisco.
Nah, I don't have. He never gave me his number. It's crazy, but he never gave me his number. He just told me to call my mom and to shut the hell up. I don't know. Thank you, Tucker. This was a real genuine treat.
I'm glad I could help.
Tucker D. Franklin, Esquire. He's not a lawyer, but he is our little Chiefs boy, deputy editor of Arrowhead Report, and host of the Roughing the Kicker Chiefs podcast. Yeah, I'd make Tucker my one phone call.
Absolutely.
And then stay in prison forever because he's not a lawyer. I cannot say enough that he is not a lawyer.
Yeah, he's not a lawyer. He's just my lawyer.
For what?
For everything.
When's the last time you needed a lawyer?
Oof.
That's not an answer. Let's take a break. Super Bowl week.
Take the show with you wherever you go. Listen live on the Sports Radio 810 mobile app and 810WHB.com.
Hey, it's former Jayhawk Greg Gurley. Kansas fans and alumni are in every city and state we play. If your favorite Jayhawk fans are missing home, send them some Joe's KC barbecue. Nothing beats home court and championship barbecue on game day. Joe's will ship anywhere in the U.S. It's easy to reheat, and it tastes just as good at home as it does at Joe's. You can ship all of Joe's favorites, like ribs, brisket, burn ends, and even the famous Z-Man. Ordering is easy, and it's just a few clicks away at joeskc.com.
Hey, listen up, guys. I don't know about you, but I know Valentine's Day is right around the corner, and if I want to have a great Valentine's Day, I got to make sure I take care of my wife. You know what I do? I get her beautiful flowers. Flowers from Pro Flowers. They're absolutely stunning. They're the highest quality flowers, freshest, smell wonderful, look even better. That's why I go to Pro Flowers. Go right now to proflowers.com. Use the promo code PETRO, P-E-T-R-O. You can save 20% on your next purchase. That's right. Save 20% on your next purchase from Pro Flowers. All you got to do is go to proflowers.com. Check out the huge selection of flowers. She's got a favorite color. She's got a favorite flower. You're going to find it at Pro Flowers. Make sure you use that promo code PETRO, P-E-T-R-O, at proflowers.com to save the 20%. Listen, Valentine's Day is right around the corner, and if you don't come home with a great gift, then you're going to be in trouble. Don't do that. Get the flowers at Pro Flowers. Clickety, click, click, click. It's that easy. Proflowers.com. Use the promo code PETRO to save 20%.
All right, fellas, listen up because Valentine's Day is closer than you think. And right now you can get a jump on Valentine's Day so you don't get in the doghouse with that special someone in your life. The Gifting Dudes have all that you need. Incredible premium head roses, 20% larger than standard roses. And you know, despite what I've been trying to convince people for my entire life, size does matter. These are long-lasting roses, twice as long as the typical roses from florists. The Gifting Dudes are giving our listeners a special deal before prices increase next week. Order before Sunday and take advantage of lower prices plus 15% off your order. Go to thegiftingdudes.com and enter my promo code NATE at checkout to save 15% on premium head roses or giant strawberries. You get to choose the delivery date, so don't procrastinate. Order now. That's thegiftingdudes.com with promo code NATE for 15% off your Valentine's Day order.
Dutch Boy's new Platinum Plus paint with Stain Shield technology has the performance you expect from a luxury paint at a price you didn't. Platinum Plus is up to 50% more washable and stain resistant than a leading premium paint in satin sheen. Superiority ranges from 24 to 50% depending on sheen selected. Platinum Plus keeps your walls looking new longer. Menards and Dutch Boy Paint have you covered. Go ahead, live your life.
Winter is coming, so plan now to keep those bugs out with Augustine Exterminators. Now is the time to establish and or maintain a barrier around your house. Don't let it break down. At Augustine Exterminators, they have you covered. Augustine Exterminators is a family-owned, local business since 1966. All of their techs are certified in both Missouri and Kansas. In fact, check out their amazing reviews from all their KC area customers. They're also a Quality Pro and Green Pro company. Augustine also does carpet, rug, air duct, and tile cleaning. They have an excellent referral program as well. Refer a new customer, and you and they get $25 off their next service. That's right. Refer a friend, and you both get $25 off your next service. Shop and buy local with Augustine Exterminators. Call Augustine Exterminators today at 913-359-8627 or go online at AugustineExterminators.com. And Augustine is looking for qualified technicians. So call today at 913-359-8627.
This is Almost Entirely Sports with Joshua Brisco.
If you thought that segment was bad, wait for the next one.
On Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Thanks again to Tucker Franklin for joining us. Check out Roughing the Kicker. He's done a really kick-ass job with it. Also, a request from Chaotic Warrior in the Twitch. Rudy sent it there, but QBcompare.com is the app that a listener of the Time Czars podcast made after hearing our repeated conversations about Patrick Mahomes and Troy Aikman. You can put in any two quarterbacks from Pro Football Reference, and it will give you a series of their stats opposite each other. It is cherry-picked stats perfectly. It's just a lot of fun. It's just very good. Thanks to everybody who's been here, not just this week, but also last 2 weeks. Thanks to Central Bank of the Midwest, CBD American Shaman, Tickets for Less, and Premier Mazda of Kansas City. And we're finally there, everybody. 24 hours of pregame starts at 5 o'clock on Saturday. We'll take you all the way up to kickoff. You can hear the game here on Sports Radio 810. Postgame with me, with Beards. Rudy's going to be watching the game like a normal person this week, but we'll have a lot to talk about, and I'm very excited. Thank you for being here this entire week. We'll talk to you next time. Bye, Mom.
You're listening to Almost Entirely Sports with Joshua Brisco on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Super Bowl 55 is coming to America's largest all-sports radio station, Sports Radio 810 WHB. This is Kevin Harlan. I'll have the call with Hall of Fame quarterback Kurt Warner on Super Bowl Sunday when the Kansas City Chiefs take on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It's Patrick Mahomes against Tom Brady. Tune in to hear all the action right here on your official home for Super Bowl 55. Sports Radio 810 WHB.